4:37. Doodle 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 doo. Diddle 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 diddle. Welcome to the pre-show where we do pre-stuff. I really just gotta create like a coming soon. Or
Coming.
Yeah, coming. Coming hot. I think the entire set's spoiled too, which is kind of nice.
What's that?
Whatever, bitch.
What are you talking about?
Your mama.
Oh, you mean the clue set?
Yeah, sure. So much dead air. Fuck. Well, kind of good that happened now. My earphones died. Give me 1 second. I gotta go get a plug.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Test.
Yep, I hear you. Is Josh gone?
Most
likely, I'm right here.
Oh. Where's our king of standard?
Yeah, I don't know. Test. Fuck me.
Test. Test? Is that good enough for you? Huh?
Test.
That'll be here in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Is it worth piecing out every item, every card in my trash pile? I don't even know how expensive shipping gets for this.
Test.
I got a lot of garbage to sell.
Test.
At some point, is it just like not worth it to cut and throw away cards that are like 10 cents? Last Card Kingdom is going to be at Magic Con. So then I could always just bring it to Magic Con and throw it at them instead of paying shipping.
Yeah, that's probably the move.
I don't know if they're going to be there though.
Yeah, probably not.
Are you even going to be there?
Yep, I'll be there. I should be there.
Should. I'll be there. Ah, well, I should be there.
Yeah, you know. Test. Oh, I'll just strip the audio because my one headphones died.
Why? What is it doing?
If you use a device without a microphone, it can't loop back.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't recognize that there's a microphone there,
Correct.
so you can't listen in.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Why? What happened to your other one that you've been using for forever?
Hold on.
Yo.
I just forgot to record, or sorry, charge these. That's what I used to record. And then they just,
Gotcha.
now they're dead. Now they're dead. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're dead.
Yep, just for you.
Jesus.
Is that cool? Burping into the mic? Do people like that?
No, I should just get some food and start chewing.
Yeah, people like when people chew. That's fucking cool.
It makes me laugh. I fucking die.
I hate that fucking sound, dude.
It makes me laugh so much. I don't like it in person. Like, I don't like people who chew with their mouth open in person. But, like, if someone does it on a stream, it just makes me laugh about
Yeah,
it.
it's just assholes.
I have a friend who
my
eats in Discord while we're gaming, and I hate it because it sounds like he's chewing right in my ear.
That's fucking JB 101. He's like, let me go get my peanut butter Folgin. I'm like, oh, you fucking bitch. The fucking worst.
It's not that bad.
Smacking of peanut butter in someone's mouth. It's probably like easily like top 5
I
worst.
don't fucking sit there and make a ton of noise.
Okay, well, first
I
off,
always mute.
yeah, likely story, Chaka. The top 5 worst sounding food noises is gotta be smacking of a banana, slurping of it, any sort of soda sipping like this. Trying to break gobstoppers from their original form without sucking them down.
We have a friend who anytime he gets gobstoppers, he's like, hey, you want to see this sick trick? And he just
Just
throws a
breaks
handful in his mouth and just starts chewing.
He's like, check this out.
Please
Jesus
stop.
Christ,
That
dude.
guy fucking rules.
Like, I don't care
No, I do, but I love it.
about the sound. I just feel bad for his teeth.
That is fucking great. Just
It's so loud.
spoiler of the day. Descana, the rage mother.
I have no idea about any of the fucking spoiler garbage. I hate it all.
You love
Get outta
spoilers.
here.
Stop lying, bro.
That's all we do. We just go, hey, you guys want to hear a great podcast? Let me read the card. What do you guys think?
I think you're a dork.
Don't fuck with me, mate. You won't fuck with me, mate.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about an annoying sound? That's it right there.
You don't like
You
it.
used to sit in Discord and you would go like flicking cards.
Oh yeah, let me get that
It's
right
like,
here.
stop.
I literally have like a stack of 5 cards next to my computer to do that when I'm like waiting on like load screens and shit.
I mean, if you're not in a call with someone, whatever.
I also have sound suppression on so they don't hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Tony, you'll just sit there and flick cards when we're playing. When we used to play League and stuff.
I
It's
do
like,
have
Tony,
time to while
sit
playing
down.
League.
Sometimes you die and you're dead for 30 seconds. You go.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Or you're loading and someone has a toaster and it takes 2 minutes, so
Yeah.
you just have free
So
time.
that's why you just gotta play Pal World.
Everybody's talking about that game.
Out of
Oh,
here
it's
with that.
so good, dude.
Okay.
I watched a stream of it and I was like, I would never pay $30 for this in my life.
You also play idle games that are trash, so I don't really take your
Yeah, dude. We
They're
don't,
judgment
free.
with games
Nobody
very
are
seriously.
Free.
nobody respects you. All right, is Josh here so we can get this?
If you
Yeah,
got it
well,
on like
started.
Xbox Game Pass for free or whatever, because they got it on there.
So I had it there originally,
Go
but
ahead.
it uses like an older version of it. Like it's not up to date, so I bought it on Steam. It's like 27
Aw.
bucks, dude. Worth
Aw.
every fucking penny. I
So
haven't
it's
paid to
meme
rent
game
the
of the
server,
month.
so suck it.
It's the meme game of the month.
It's like the second highest like
Yes, it's the meme
played
game of the
right
month.
now.
Man,
It beat out CS:GO 2, dude. Suck it.
Is that even
Who
good?
the hell cares about CS:GO?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Is that even good?
Wow. What?
Is CS:GO even good?
I don't know. Ask the like millions of people that still play it.
You can also ask the millions of people that play.
I know, like,
That play, yeah, dude. I have like zero respect for anybody who plays video games because most people are like, "I'm gonna buy the new Pokemon version," and here's the reality of it: it's the same formula as the last 19, and I love it.
That's why Pal World's awesome. You stick
Because you can
guns
get
in the
guns,
Pokemon's
and
hands.
that's it.
I gotta get 8 gym
Literally
badges.
get guns, and it's jank as hell.
It is not.
Yes,
You're just mad you suck.
Yeah, man, you mad?
I watched someone open their Pokemon ball, and the thing just fucking walked straight into a fire and started on fire and started other things in the area on fire. That game is jank.
I'd want to too. Someone caught me in a Pokeball, bro.
Kill me now.
Like, get me out of here.
All right.
Oh,
No. We're off those
just doing
spoilers.
the
Get outta here.
Jurassic Park song.
Yep, that's why I said you can't do that. We're not doing those spoilers no more. We already got all our
Themes.
Jeff
the-
Goldblum.
Theme song.
What about it? But yeah, Pal World. You guys will be
Alright,
over in a month.
hipster. I don't know. I'm paying to rent the server, so I kind of can't be.
You guys will be over in a month. I got my in and out on
I bet you your entire legacy deck. I'll still be playing it in June.
That's an easy bet.
Well, I mean, I was about to say you just continue to play it because you have nothing to lose.
I have nothing but time. All right.
time is money.
You heard it here first. You are
So
listening.
legacy cards.
Or the reserve list, baby. Reserve list for life. Okay, I'm a lifer. Don't ever take that
I
shit
know
off.
you are.
Make me rich. You are listening to episode 137 of Paper Player. I'm your host, Tony, joined with Josh, Jeff, and JB.
I made it. I showed up.
I know, he's done. JB,
I'm back.
congratulations.
Alive.
How is it sorting a 1K box? How can this take you this
We're getting
long?
pretty close, actually.
It's just sorting a 1K.
Like, I legit have a lot of cards that I've been slowly going through and putting on a buy list to Card Kingdom. And what's the point where weight values the actual single card? You know what I mean? Because like obviously shipping weight costs. You know, the higher your shipping weight is, the more it'll cost you to send.
Sure.
whatever.
Anything under like $5 just isn't worth it. I don't think.
I don't believe that.
Not unless you have like multiple.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is let's say I have
Like if you have a
if I have,
1,000
like,
count box of
100
$4 cards, the cut they're gonna take on top of like the sending it just doesn't seem worth.
Is not.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes.
I also never send cards because I only do one thing. It's
Throw them in
consume.
the trash. I know.
No, you just consume.
Yeah, by throwing them in the garbage when you're done.
Or the freeway. Same thing. You know, streetwalkers need fun too.
Tony's the kind of
Yeah.
guy who'll dump a mattress on the freeway.
Oh, yeah. Just put it on the
Antonio
roof.
threw a hot dog out the window of his car once and hit a dude on a motorcycle.
I mean, what is it, Anchorman? No.
Wow.
All right. So, you are listening probably to the greatest Magic the Gathering podcast, Not Close. Take that, limited resources. Take that, what is that one with the fish? Yeah, take that, Saf. Or what did you
Oh my
name? What
God.
is your name?
The one with the fish
Zafiro,
pizza.
It's a Pokemon.
Zafiro Peppers. Yeah, so like, subscribe, go to our link tree, help us grow, help us get larger. Because when we get larger, you get larger. I don't know what I mean by that, but I'm just saying things just to say things. It sounds fun. But yes, seriously, go.
That's Tony's life.
I,
Life statement. I say things to say things.
I don't like silence. What do you want from me? Don't tell me secrets. I'll break those too.
I'll break them.
I can't keep a secret. So right here, don't look. All right. Yes, we are going to MagicCon. If you're not going to be there, you're definitely going to be square. That's why you got to get in the circle of MagicCon. Duh.
By the way, you said you break all secrets, right? That's why Wizards won't give us a card.
I know. What the hell?
It's because you're just gonna tell everyone before the street date.
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
Look at this sweet tech.
oh my
Please reach
guys.
out to us if you look forward to playing a Commander game with us. I would love to play Commander with you guys.
Yeah, have fun with his Shieldred and his Crank or his Shieldred
Oh,
and his
God.
Perforos deck. You're gonna have a blast.
Wow.
Well, everybody
hate
die
it.
fast.
I mean, Shieldred lost twice
I get more
this
gaming
weekend.
that way.
All right.
I lost. I didn't play. Or wait, yeah, I played Shielder.
I knew you did.
I love to get stomped
And
every
then
time.
did you lose to the other
My
Shieldred
favorite.
player?
No, he didn't play
He
his.
didn't play it, but in a weird way, yes.
All right.
'Cause he stole it. Yeah.
So
He allowed Cranko to
Like,
live so I
weird,
could make
but-
50 tokens.
you guys play loose, fast and loose. But we got some show notes today. We're gonna do the Magic Roundtable, the Jeff edition.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I'm in.
Standard metagame. Shieldred is too damn high. Scalping is here. Spoilers and murder. And then back to ranking those goddamn keywords.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
I was hoping I somehow missed all of them, but
Oh, buddy.
Bro, there's like.
I know.
How many
I
are
know.
there, Tony?
Current list is like 221.
Oh my god.
That's not as bad as I thought it
That's
was.
more
gonna
than we're in like an original set
Yeah,
of cards.
that's why it's taking us the whole year. Okay.
Yeah, I can tell.
All right. But before we get into that, here's a story that this is gone. This is over. That happened.
be. You
2
do
weeks
this
ago.
every time.
I'm gonna keep. I like keeping it in there, but this shows the Mana Vault that Magic and Mana Vault MKE that's located on 3807 South Packard Avenue in St. Francis, Wisconsin. If you want to check out some cool stuff, go here. With that, they have a CDH tournament happening this Saturday, for a 1K prize. If you need to join or enter that CDH tournament, go ahead and check them out on Facebook. They have the event probably up there, and I think they do a lot of their stuff through.
I think it might be full.
It could be.
I think I'm doing the coverage for that one too.
Oh, sick, dude.
Nice.
And then they have their 1 year anniversary coming up, which is the weekend of Friday the 16th, 17th, and 18th, which on Friday they'll be kicking off with the Double Masters draft, which is a $75 entry that has a rare redraft at the end of it, a 32-player cap. You must pre-register, and you pre-register on topdeck.gg. They also have a CDH tournament for a Time Twister. It's a $100 entry,
That's
but
the one that's full.
that's the big one. Don't miss that one. You can get a piece of power, but if you're already, if it's not too late, maybe call them. Maybe somebody will back out. I don't know. It is proxy friendly,
Yeah.
which is pretty dope. So that the fact that you can play for a piece of power is sick. And lastly, we're gonna talk
This
about
is
there.
the day that I'm busy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're free the 17th. Cool.
Yeah, the 17th, and
I'm free on the 17th. I'll do coverage on this one too.
yeah. So
On
Friday,
Sunday the 18th.
yeah, Sunday, February 18th, they're having a legacy tournament that's also proxy friendly. $50 entry. First gets a volcanic island, second gets a drop, third gets a bayou, fourth gets a taiga, and fifth through eighth gets $100 in cash. So yeah, all these things will be live on Twitch. You'll be able to check these things out. Go there. Boom.
Go there.
Yo, dog.
We did it, boys.
Yeah, man.
Jeff won
I got
an RCQ.
Knew it
Oh
was
yeah,
gonna
just
happen.
to just to clear that up, that CEDH coming up definitely has open spots. So
Yeah, for sure.
the one coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I was wrong.
Be sure. All right, dudes. Let's get into the nitty gritty of Jeff's win. As far as everybody else's Magic playing, I don't care, and neither does the audience. So.
No. This is the Jeff corner. You gotta let me go.
First off, it's me saying Tony
That's what
kills
I thought. This is the
everyone.
Jeff corner. Okay.
Tony kills others except Jeff. That's the winner.
Yep.
All right.
So I played Vintage Cube.
Boo.
I drafted.
Yeah, and you
trash.
didn't draft green because you're trash.
Yeah, I should have.
Pack one,
Jeff
pick
was
one.
watching. Yeah,
This man had Questing Beast in his pack and chose to take.
that was not pack one, pick one. That was a little later.
Okay, memes.
He didn't. He picked. What was the stupid card he picked?
Scarab God.
Scarab God, and built the worst deck.
Yeah.
Hey, I went 1-1-1.
I don't know if
That's not a number to be
Great.
proud of.
Although my last match was great because I ended up tying. After I stole the guy in game 3, I stole the guy's what is that, memory jar, and he had 2 cards left and I had 6, and I was like, well, I'm gonna lose if I don't activate this. So
the sick
it
draw.
was ridiculous.
Love it. That is pretty dope.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Nice.
All right, go ahead, Jeff. Now let's talk about real Magic.
All right. So Jeff plays in
Cubes
our.
aren't real.
He's been jamming a lot of Arena, rocking a lot of Magic, a lot of Standard. The guy's been hyped on Standard since what, last October. And now that you're Unleashed and you can play Red, guess what you did? You won with Red. So
By the way, when I made this deck list on, it's like MTG Goldfish, I think I used. I had no idea that Bloodthirsty Adversaries were expensive as they were until I saw that price tag.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the deck's like $130, and 75 of it is the 4 Bloodthirsty Adversaries.
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Friday I went to FNM, and mind you, before this, I was actually going to play Red Green for the RCQ. I'd picked up everything for it, but I'd been play testing it. And I think the deck is very strong and it can kill you by like turn 3, but it's very unpredictable. And sometimes you just end up with pump spells in hand and no creatures, or all creatures and no pump spells.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, we're just going to go back to mono red. I went to FNM, lost round 1 to black green. Game 3, got him to 1, couldn't close it out. And then I won my next 2 rounds. And the one card I found myself sideboarding in every game was Twisted Fealty, which is 3 mana sorcery, gain control of a creature, gains haste on tap till end of turn, and you put a Wicked counter on a creature. So the deck was originally running 2 Furnace Punishers main and the 2 Twisted Fealty in the board. So for the RCQ, I switched it just because to gain that extra edge game 1 to like close out game, stealing Shieldred, stealing Atraxas, stealing, anything big that I can steal that'll either A, move it out of the way or just deal more damage. Went to the RCQ, played round 1 against Green Black, which at the time I thought was my worst matchup, and I squeaked out a 2-0 win. Round 2 I played the mirror match. Game 2 we were both at 7. I had won game 1. I had a play with fire in hand, and I could have killed their flipped Kamano on my turn, but I decided to wait. They casted a spell to pump their Swift Spear in response. I killed it. And I'm glad I did because they played another sorcery that would have pumped it to kill me for Xaxes, but they put me to 1 and I turned around and killed them on the next swing. But they were playing a card that I was kind of interested in trying out. It's called Battle of Gabakon, 3 mana enchant or battle that deals 4 damage to an opponent and 1 damage to their creature. So the reason it's played is to kill the bat. So the one with flying lifelink can be an issue. So it was kind of cool. I haven't really played with that, but I definitely would check that out for the future. Round 3 is where I got my first loss, or well, I should say only loss. I played against Bant Infect, and they just got me game 3. They were just a turn ahead of me, and I couldn't keep up. Round 4, I had to play. I ended up playing against Domain. I beat them in 7 minutes and 34 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean that deck can be really slow, especially if they don't keep a hand that has the gain 3 life card in it.
They played 2 of those.
Oh,
Wasn't enough.
Sure.
But it was just like, even when we sat down, it was a friend, Nate. If you listen to the podcast, man, still enjoyed our matches like I told you I did there. But he even said it. He was like, "This is my worst matchup. Like, you're just too fast." And we got there. So round 5, my opponent, I asked them, and my round 5 opponent was 3-0-1 because they had drawn in round 4. And I was like, "Hey, draw for top 8." And at first, they were like, "No, I think I'm going to play to try to get first." And I was like, "You know, we can do that, but I just want you to know, looking at the standings, the best you can do is move from seat 3 to seat 2. You can't beat out seat 1 because they're 4-0-1. And they, I think they had drawn with them the round before or something like that, and like his breakers were bad. So he decided to draw with me. Went to get food, came back, we went to top 8. I played against Rakdos round 1. And we had a moment where I had killed a Shieldred and I had to flip Kamano out, and neither of us stated that it was exiled. I tend to like assume that my opponent knows that because like that card is played a lot. Well, he reanimated it, and I pointed it out that it should have been exiled. We called the judge, and the judge was like, "Well, this is too far into the game. That was like 4 turns ago. It stays in the graveyard." Later, I found out that's actually the wrong call because it's an effect that is just always there. It would be on both of us for not keeping the game state, so it still would have been exiled.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a weird one to go with because the reality is like nothing has changed about the graveyard state. All it is just a correction of this goes here, and then like the spell that he cast to reanimate the Shieldred, like it just puts it back.
Which
in his
was
hand.
Cruelty of Gix. It
Yeah.
was the saga, and he fast forwarded it to the last chapter.
Gotcha.
So he got that game. Game 2 just came out swinging really fast, killed him, and in game 3 I killed him by stealing his Shieldred, attacking, putting him to 4, and I had Witchstalker Frenzy in hand and killed the Shieldred before giving it back too, so that way he couldn't gain life, and just got there. We went to top 4. We split all the prizes except the invite. So we like, I think it was like $110 in like store credit and whatnot. Played against Rakdos again. It was Ian, friend of the cast.
Okay.
Got him game 1. Game 2, he got stuck on like 2 and 3 lands, and I just kind of like, punked him the whole game. Just kept stealing stuff when I could, killing stuff when I needed to, and he really just couldn't keep up. So there was 3 Bant Infect decks that were in the top 8, which I was not looking forward to. And the last person I had to play was the Bant Infect guy. Not the one that I lost to earlier in the match, but a different one. So we sit down, and he asks me right away, he's like, "Hey, I really want this invite." He was like, "You can have all the prize. I just want the invite. Do you just want to split?" And I was like, "No, man, I've been grinding these RCQs since literally they were announced. Like, I want this invite. Like, I want this clout even in general. Like,
For sure.
I want to do this." Play game 1. He gets me to 9 poison, and I can tell he's like off on a blue mana. So I'm swinging just enough to start pinging him down with damage, but keep enough back to block his might tokens. And I ended up winning that game sitting at 9 poison because he couldn't find a blue mana to cast his March of Swirling Mist to remove my stuff to kill me. So we go to game 2. He gets there, and before game 3, he asked me again. He's like, "Do you just want to split? I just want the invite." And I was like, "Again, man, no, we're going to play this." So we're going back and forth. I'm stopping him from poisoning. I think I ended the game with only 3 poison. But the last turn, I counted his mana, and I noticed he had 4 mana total available, 1 blue, and he would have to ping himself, which he was at 5 life. So I swing with 5 creatures. He pings himself down to 4, phases out 3 of them, and allows a Phoenix Chick to get in for 3. He's tapped out. I have 2 mana, and I looked at him and I was like, "Sorry, bud." And I put Lightning Strike on the board and kill him.
Nice.
And that
Man,
was
I would have been
how I
so
won.
pumped. I'd have been like, hell
Oh,
yeah.
I was
take
like
this, bud.
afterwards. It was very thrilling. Like I feel like every time I do good at a big tournament like this, it's always when I start to kind of doubt myself in Magic. When I tend to tell myself like, has this grind really been worth it? Like all this time I spend investing into this card game, is it worth it? Like, am I really showing that I'm getting better? And then stuff like this happens.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you made it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
sick.
excited.
Especially playing against having to face off against a deck you were like freaked out about for the finals is always like,
Oh yeah,
man.
it honestly is the hardest matchup because they're as fast, if not faster, and
Right.
because they have blue and white, they have more resilience.
Mhm.
Because he also drew one knockout blow game 3, and that was it. That
Yeah.
card is
It's
super
devastating, yeah.
annoying. And then I got my first place prize card, which is a foil alt art expressive iteration, and we know how much I love modern.
Yeah.
So I actually went and traded that in today to a card shop and picked up a bunch of stuff for EDH and standard. So that was kind of cool. Got to pick up my Blood Moon to piss off people in EDH with and stuff like that, and my Godo.
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
Well, I'm
yeah,
glad
man,
you made it.
It
Super
was
fun. I'm
it was
sure.
really exciting. I really enjoyed it. I love this format, man. Like it honestly was cool just to see so many decks that did so well. Like the format was very versed. There was a lot of Rakdos because everyone's kind of on that right now to combat
Yeah.
Domain. But honestly, the format is very open. Like
Yeah, I always
from
wanna ask,
control
how
to
many-
mid.
How many domain? How much domain was there?
I think there was like 3 or 4 Domain players there.
Okay, so it wasn't like crazy over.
It was a
top.
30-person tournament, so I mean, it's like what, an eighth of the
10%?
tournament.
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah.
So it's
Which
not
isn't
that
bad.
crazy.
There was 2 mono red players, both top 8'd, or both top 4'd, I should say.
Yeah.
So that was cool. A lot of Rakdos, a lot of green black, and then there was 2, I think, Esper Legends, and then there was a couple of the Bant Infect.
Mm.
But got the email, got the invite. Already
Nice.
told the girlfriend, she's super excited. Yeah.
When is it again?
It's May 31st to June 2nd.
Oh
Nice.
man, dude, I gotta pick up an invite so the Jeffs can go.
I don't know if you saw Antonio
Bitch, you
commented.
idiots.
There is a tournament on Saturday in Oshkosh, I think. He's driving.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
If you want to borrow
Wait, is it
Monored,
for
I still got
standard?
it together.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I would.
standard.
I have at least some reps with
Domain.
the domain, so I'd play that
Yeah.
over everything.
Yeah.
Even if I feel bad, because I also feel terrible whenever I sit down and see infect, because I'm like, oh my god, I just can't win. This is over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just too slow.
I start
but,
playing Get Lost.
No, I play what is that stupid temporary lockdown, which is really
Yeah, that's a
good.
really good one too. Yeah.
Build.
But if they're just waiting for it, they just counter it immediately, and it's like, oh well.
Mainly
I'm
against that
losing.
matchup, you gotta hope that they don't hit like the swirling mist or the phase out card. Because if they hit that, it kind
Yeah.
of just time walks you, and then you're just
Yep.
you're shit out of luck.
Done. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because you used your whole turn that was important to do nothing.
By the way, End Festivities, amazing card. Holy
believe
cow, I
it.
love that card.
Yeah. With all the soldiers running around, you're like,
Oh yeah.
lightning. Yeah.
Clean them up.
All right. So these are the results of the last 2 weeks of decks. So at the top of this, like it's just like 76% aggro, 24% control. Really, there's not a lot of combo going on in this format. Just they just haven't done
Well, I mean,
things in standard.
I was
for
about to say
combo.
there's nothing
Yeah.
built for
There's
it.
there's
so-
one combo deck, but it has fallen off. It's the Invasion of Alara combo where
yeah.
they flip it,
Yeah.
or they play it. And they grab the stupid green adventure card that has a 7-mana side, and they cast it, and then they put the black creature into play, and they kill something, and they get double triggers, and it's a combo deck. It's just not good anymore.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the format's like the highest for aggro is Esper aggro because Rafine and just being able to connive such a high amount gets you there. Red deck wins, which is kind of the great counter to some of the Rakdos decks, and also the 4-color deck that's really popular, that's good against the Rakdos decks. And then Rakdos aggro, Bant aggro, which Bant aggro is just Infect or Toxic, if you will. It's really not aggro in that sense. It's just more of a ping you down with a bunch of Infect and then finish you off by targeting my Veterated Rock Priest a couple times to kind of close that gap. Azorius
Or proliferate with some proliferate card.
Yeah, then you have Azorius aggro, which is in a lot of varieties. There's the soldier variant, and then there's like the creature-based variant, but that's like the kind of the tempo deck of the format, and then Dimir and Golgari aggro, which are just primarily using Shieldred is the way to. It's I would call them more of a mid-range than I would an aggro, but those are kind of where those things stand. And then everything else from there is kind of just fringe, and then really just there's one premier control deck, which is the 5-color base, just because again herd migration is what keeps those guys in that game and lets the game go longer, and then they finish you off with cards like Atraxa and then all sorts of stuff like that. So that's really what the format.
Archangel of Wrath.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one's a big one. Yeah, that's one
Super
of
good.
the hard
Oh, I'll
cards
just
to deal with.
gain 4 life. It'll be great.
Yeah, so the red deck's got an amazing matchup probably against 5-color control, just because their deck is so much set up, and like unless they're drawing 2 to 3 herd migrations within like the first 3 turns, like you probably are going to beat them before they
Dude.
establish an Atraxa.
And that's kind of why like everything that I played against that I like stomped easily was like big hitter decks or like
Yep.
mid range, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just like pushing all over them. But like anytime I sat down across from an aggro, I was just like, dude, I'm not winning. This
No.
is impossible.
Your cards just don't match up currently against them, and like
So that's why it always confuses me why there's such like a heavy percentage on that deck. Because you think people would just be playing mad aggro then, but I don't know.
well, it's probably truthfully because of mid range. Because I mean, Dimir aggro and Rakdos aggro, they're both just Shieldred decks, and they just kind of beat you with Shieldred. And a lot of the game plans are get to Shieldred, and then like kind of just sit there, and then you have a plethora of discard spells and removal spells, kind of take care of everything on board, and other trickery along the way. But you're the removal deck.
Well, I
control
get that it's
plays
like
Like
rock-
Golgari though too. Like
Yeah, there you
granted,
go, yeah.
Golgari has a little bit of extra like early game with the green black adventure creature.
Yep.
But like honestly, like they hurt themselves so much with their own deck that like they can't afford to allow you to keep things around when you do play things. So they're spending all their turns removing your stuff and not progressing
Yeah.
their board.
All 3 of those
Gotcha.
decks primarily have the best way of using Cut Down, and Cut Down does nothing against the like 4 to 5 color aggro decks. You're just like
Yep.
all my creatures except for like the 3/3s that you get from Herd Migration, which if you're casting that card, you can get like 4 to 5 3/3s. Doesn't
Cut
hit,
down can't even hit those.
doesn't hit. Oh yeah, exactly. It doesn't hit the Angel, and it doesn't hit the Atraxa. So like in game 1, you're probably heavily favored just because they have a truly a dead card against you. They're like, oh crap, and that's like the bane of every single black mid-range deck. The removal typically whiffs on the big bads of the format. So here's some of what those decks look like. Oh, here the most played cards: Odoaru, Go for the Throw, Cut Down, Deep Cavern Bat, Takanuma, Cavern of Souls, which is there's a mana leak coming to this format, but Cavern of Souls existing means like no bueno. And you can see all the top cards are black. Yeah, black's just got a heavy advantage in this format, really. Odoaru being the number 1 is really surprising, but that's kind of your catch-all to the, like, this card's problematic, I need to deal with it, here's my out, plus it's a land, so.
Yeah, I think it's played in that Bant aggro deck too.
Yep, so.
Good deck, or it's a good card.
It is.
Yeah, so you have Leyline Binding, Sunfall, Herd Migration, Depopulate, Chrome, like, Topiary Stomper, that, like, 4/4 whatever guy.
Topiary.
Yeah, Topiary.
Topiary.
Those cards just, those cards are what keeps you in the game. That's your 4-color control deck, and you can see that they're heavily geared against, like, mid-range decks. They're not really geared, like, there's the only cards that are really geared towards early game are Topiary Stomper and really Archangel of Wrath, which takes a little bit to get there, and then I guess the one of Chrome, Host, Sea Shark.
Operary
Yeah, I
can't
don't really
block
get that
until
one.
you have 7 lands
I thought I
or
couldn't-
attack.
Okay,
Nope,
gotcha.
No, I
it
thought
cannot
that card-
block.
Yeah.
It's very slow.
Yeah, so on turn, it's your ramp to get you to wherever you need to get to, which is your Angel of Wrath. But yeah,
Well, no, your main what you're doing for the most part is trying to get your sun whatever.
Sunfall.
Destroyer. Yeah, kill everything.
Then you have your Esper Aggro decks, which is just your mid-range good stuff, right? Which has Rafine to kind of get you in the long game and have consistent draws. So when you're drawing dead, you have abilities to get rid of that. It's using Wedding Announcement and Virtue of Loyalty, which is your kind of
Dude, Wedding Announcement is so good.
yeah, these dual things, and then it's also picking off your hand with Deep Cavern bat, and then has Go for Throw, Make Disappear, and Cut Down, kind of those random like hey or one-off cards. Especially Make Disappear has been getting worse and worse as the format kind of progresses because things are either getting lower or out of range because of Cavern.
Mm-hmm.
I know that card is. It's like been a hit or miss.
It's
More
yeah.
miss than hit.
Well, every time like so like at FNM level, you're probably not going to run into a lot of Caverns. At RCQ level, you're probably seeing nothing but Cavern of Souls because I can't imagine people are coming there with like a non-Cavern Souls deck, and the like decks that don't play Cavern of Souls are super low to the ground.
I was gonna say Mono Red doesn't run Cavern.
Yeah, but your spells are just like whatever.
Yeah.
This is your Bant aggro deck. If you haven't seen this deck, it's same exact thing. Yeah, it's got Skrell, Venerated Rock Priest, Draw and Duelist, and then kind of like Crawling Chorus and Annex Sentry, which are just like legit like bulk cards, which is funny to see. But I mean, it's
standard. You can.
Yeah,
those cards are good.
Well, like the best part about this deck is the upcoming sets won't have anything to offer your creature base. So as far as like the deck's shell, you're not getting anything new. So if this deck's good and it can last through each set coming out, you'll have a deck that lasts to the end of the season, which we'll go into seasons as well too. So Shieldred, I know I posted this the other day. Shieldreds are roughly
Can't be
100.
that expensive.
It's like $89 on average, $90. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's still breaching that.
Still a
$100
bit.
Yeah, still breaching that $100 mark. For a standard card.
Dude, we're back to old standard, baby.
When it gets out of standard, what do you think Shieldred's price will be?
60, 50.
60. Yeah, I was thinking 60.
Same thing with Jace. Jace is kind of maintained.
He'll still be popular in Pioneer, Modern. She's playing Legacy occasionally.
Legacy, yeah.
EDH. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
So
See, just play Twisted Fealty, and you don't have to buy one. You just steal one from your opponent.
exactly. So this is what I wanted to talk about with seasons and kind of prices as a whole. We're kind of for those that didn't get to play back and extended, like those were when like seasons were true. So things were constantly going up and down. When it, like at the beginning of the season, a new deck would come out, things would skyrocket in price because everybody needed to go get the hottest deck, whether it be Tarmogoyf, whether it be Stoneblades, whether it be Thopter Foundry, whatever it may be, Sword of the Meek. And then the end of the season came, and basically nobody played with those cards for 8 months.
I kind of like it. I don't know. It incentivizes trading. Because there's people who will be like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to play the next set. You can trade me for whatever the good stuff is from this standard deck that I won't be playing anymore because lots of people are not playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm really hoping it kicks trades back up in stores, like to the point where it used to be. You know, where people are bringing out their binders and they have like just a bunch of different stuff from, for different formats all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why I've been sorting my bulk too, is because I want to see anything that's over like $5. I'm just sticking in my binder, so that way when it comes time, I can actually finally start.
I've been kind of doing the same thing because I'm preparing for the next set because I think Mono Red is going to shift into Red White. Solely just for Lightning Helix, if it even is.
Probably.
Just because like
You have
that card's great.
Yeah.
Because in Battlefield Forge, like
It's free.
Why not?
Yeah.
Plus, playing the Bloodthirsty Adversary to grab Lightning Helix over Lightning Strike just feels so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what I want them to do going forward, when I don't know if that will happen with seasons, but I think what they should do, and I don't know if let me know what you guys think of this is.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, thanks. The standard season should be a month. It should kick off with like a month before the rotation. That way people can play like their greatest hits, and then it should rotate. And then it'll kind of like we get two formats.
Mid-season, you mean?
Yeah, mid-season. It'll, whatever it may be. So it'll rotate. And then we get a new set in, 4 sets exit through the format, which I know sucks for people and like their value of their cards, but it would give us like you get 2 formats in one because there's a drastic shift, right? You get to play a format with all the sets simultaneously existing in the maximum capacity, and then the next it goes 4 exited, 1 new one comes in. Let's see what lies, right?
So I like the concept in theory, but there's one issue. Is that 1 month before rotation, you're spiking the prices of cards that won't be playable after that month. So there's going to be a lot of like players getting burned. Like, oh, I got to drop this to play in an RCQ. So here's $400 and a bunch of cards that are going to be worth $20 in like a month.
So the beauty of that is,
Immediately after that.
yeah. So
Huh?
that does suck. But like, so standard how it is now, right? The way it's set up, the next 3 sets that come out after the season's over, which, you know, in July, those sets won't be relevant. Like standard essentially dies, right? And then we never get a point where standard is its full capacity. We'll never get to play it that way. So that's the only reason I'm like, hey, let's.
What if an alternative instead of having like it be the last month of rotation, because seasons are about 3 months,
Yeah.
3-4 months, you have it be the season starts the day of rotation. So then you get to have those fun, innovative decks in the beginning where people are trying to figure out the format. So for about a month or 2, you get to have some fun with it. And then those last 2 months, you get to see what the format is actually going to be.
Okay. So then the sets that come out after rotation.
Well, like
Yeah.
you have 3 years, so it's gonna be like
Yeah, I
every
guess.
year you're gonna be getting like a new format to look at for standard because there's
Gotcha.
gonna be new sets.
Yeah, that's probably more correct. I just like the idea of having like a mid-season shift because of how fast Arena solves information.
I
So-
guess,
Agreed.
but like you're just not going to defeat that ever, and like that
Yeah.
information's going to be solved after a week anyways.
Okay.
So it's not like you're really gaining anything out
The
of it
best-
other than making it really hard for people to play in paper,
Yeah.
which is a problem. We
Oh.
want less of.
Although
we want
standard
less
has been
punishing for playing in paper.
Popping lately.
Yeah.
what's
well, I
in
mean, people are
paper?
pumped. People are excited. Like everyone I talked to when I went to any of the standard tournaments was like, "Dude, I am so excited for seasons coming back. It gives me like a focus.
Yeah.
Like I like to play different formats, but like it gives me a focus on what I should be playing at the moment. I just
Yeah.
You don't rush to have to get 3 different decks or 3 different formats within like
Yeah.
2 months.
You can, as a competitive player, you can kind of move your Magic budget, right? You can be like, all right, I'm
Mhm.
getting out of standard, I'm moving over here, and then like these are the upgrades, or here's my modern deck, here's the few upgrades I need, or in the case of Modern Horizons, here's the $30,000 I need to spend.
yeah.
So, but
I wanted to bring this up too because we're talking about like seasons in the RCQ. So we all heard that obviously SCG is taking over. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Did we talk about how they are changing the way it works now? Like how I've won an RCQ, so technically I can't win an invite anymore.
Yeah,
That's changing.
does that mean you
Win
can
another?
You can still
So
play?
what it means is I can still like, all right, let's say there's an RCQ this weekend. I won last week. I can go and I can win. If I win, that invite does not go to the next person. I can literally
Just
Dream
steal?
Crush and steal.
Oh
invite.
my god.
They're changing it to that.
All right, I see why
Because the
they're
way
doing
it
that.
works
crazy.
now is it's supposed to move down to the next person if you can't win an invite.
You should
That's
be able
both
to,
hilarious and terrible.
you
at
should
Oh,
be
the
able
agreed.
to
same
store them. Like you should be able to like, hey, I won 4 this season. I have 4 invites for the next things. Like you should be able to bank.
time. Well, they can't do that.
But then
because
you're
there'd be
you're
too
still
many.
stealing invites at that point because that's
You can't
3
have more
invites that
people at the
people
next
can't
one.
win. Like
Like-
you already have one.
Yeah. I guess I just like so I know why they're doing that is because they're SCG 5Ks. They want people
Have
to
like no invites.
well they're
or
gonna
no people, I
they're-
mean.
yeah no people, and they're gonna want to incentivize people like, hey, this is a top 8 invite, and if you can't play because you've already been invited, you're like, oh that stinks. Like I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels bad.
Yeah. So that I think that's a good change. I'm with it. Spike stealing, it really is going to benefit teams. So what you're going to end up doing, and this is the downside of that, is you're going to have people that are qualified. They're going to go to these things, and their goal is to dunk everybody and
Everybody's.
up there. Yeah, exactly. So they play their buddy in round 3, auto scoop, and it's like, I don't like that. I really don't, because it benefits you having a team. And then like, what does the tournament look like? Where let's say I'm the only one not qualified. I'll pay for your guys' entry fees. You face me, you scoop to me, and then everybody else, you do not do any draws. You spike them out of the tournament, right? What does that look like, especially at like a 16
I mean,
or
that's
17 minute
definitely
event?
collusion, but
Well, there's no way to prove it, right? Like-
yeah,
like,
agreed.
yeah, we'll just play and then you give me the win. Like we talk about it before, and I'm actually like, let's say if I don't pay for your entry fee, you're just like, you're my friend. I want you to go. I already have an invite. That's not collusion. You're just,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
like-
I 100% would probably do that if I faced everyone but you, Tony.
yeah,
but-
exactly. Well, like, honest to God, that's like the reality of what that system may shake up to be, where, you have
How many people are going to be doing that? In all honesty,
the energy
A
guys.
lot.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't-
just
I think you
people in
forget how
general,
grinders
friend
work.
groups exist. You ever go to a Magic tournament? There's always like people are always grouped together somewhere. It's like high school all over again. You have like different groups of people.
Yeah.
Because yes, you're all friends, but you have the immediate people
So,
you talk
that's
to.
my question right now, Jeff. Is would you, if you had the opportunity to play in another RCQ that was happening, like let's say another one's happening in a month, would you play in it if you had the ability?
I've already been looking up the actual rules to see if I can play, and
You
if the
unfortunately
invite just
Or
goes
you
to.
want to?
I'm pretty sure it's changed to where you can play, and the invite is just handed to the person under you.
Okay.
Which I think is fine. That I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with.
Yeah, I guess.
Because
I mean,
otherwise, like honestly, those are the only real big tournaments we get around here for
Well-
standard. So like that's what I've been kind of looking for.
So that's what ends up becoming really bad, is that you start talking about, let's say someone who already has an invite is playing because they can,
yep.
and now they're in the top two, and he's, you go, well, you can either lose to me and lose the invite forever, or I'll take all the prize. I'll take it right now.
That's like that would have to be discussed openly, and that's collusion,
And I was about to say, like, I know people kind of, like, your opponent asked you, can I take it?
which
You'll
is
take
definitely
everything.
a form of collusion. Me and Antonio were kind of discussing that afterwards.
When it's hold on, so the rules of collusion, I think you're a little misguided.
He's offering me the prizes to give him the invite and the win.
It wasn't I pay you money. It's we agree to a split, and how that
Yeah.
split was divvied. That's very different.
I guess it
Yeah.
was more or less how he worded it then, because he didn't word it
Me
as
and
a
Antonio
split.
He goes,
done
you
that too.
you
Yeah.
can have all the prize, and the split. My take is the invite. That's not collusion. It would be collusion if it was the top four, because there's another match that is predicated based on those results, right? When it's you
Well,
and the
doesn't it
person,
be-
if it's
Go
you
ahead,
and the
sorry.
if it's you and the person in the finals, it's all that's left is you two. You guys can come up with whatever it is you want, right?
But it becomes a pay because we had split the product in top four. So he was already allocated those
Yep.
prizes.
So, yep.
Now he is offering me what we had already agreed to split
Yep.
to get that invite.
Well,
So
he
that's
was-
what I think changes it.
He was going to give you his share of the split,
Yeah.
which is still the same prize, right? Like, so it's not collusion in that sense. And I say this because when you're in the finals of anything, like it's super like crazy to collude, because colluding really only brings a red flag when it affects or impacts other matches that are going on. Like if you go like, hey, I'll give you $50 to give me the win. And then
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
colluding.
it's you can't do that. Or say like, I'll hook you up or something along those lines. Like, hey, like you're, blah, blah, you can't do that
I've
because
definitely had that happen to me
Yeah.
before years and years ago.
it's impacting other matches. The final table, like the only match
I
that's
guess you're not
impacted,
impacting anything
you're
yet. So
you're solely it's just it's that conversation between you and him. You couldn't do that in top four. Like you couldn't say
Okay.
like I will give
Scoop
it
me in
yeah.
and F off, and so
Yeah.
that way I play.
I'll
in
give you
the
my prize.
finals.
You'd be like, I'll give you, like, let's say if you're in the top four or in semis and you go like, hey, I'm about to lose this match. You can have my half of the prize if you let me win it and have a chance to play for the next round. It's like, that's not, you can't do
now
that.
what if you did it this way? What if it was top four and I was like, I will let you guys split my prizes and all I will take is the invite and we just call it here?
So
Because
if
now
everybody agrees to it,
everybo-
yeah, if everybody
Yeah,
agrees to it,
because
sure.
then it would be a split, right?
Yeah, if everybody agrees to it, yes. But like it's a little, so
That's
like,
including everyone rather
Yes.
than excluding the two
Yeah.
people who are currently
Yeah,
playing the game
correct.
2 feet from you or
Right.
whatever.
or it's I mean they do that now. Like at Pro Tours, they're not allowed to draw. Thank God. So like, but it used to be like, hey, like I need this. There used to be so much collusion that happens because like, hey, for me to stay on the gravy train, I need to get a draw this round. I will give you X amount of dollars to draw with me, and that way I can keep my silver or gold status. You know, I need these points or this rating to continue on this. And there was so much of that going on. And then like the final tables or the last 2 rounds were just literally everybody just handshaking at the end of like, here's like 4 matches that are not relevant at all. They're like, no more splitting, no more drawing. Like that shit's gone.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that-
because it destroys all sense of like when you're talking about on camera, I kind of understand it more
yeah.
because it just kind of destroys all sense of like
Yeah.
intensity and like excitement behind it. So it's
Yeah.
just like not good. I get that. I can understand why you wouldn't want to have that on cam.
I think the I can already picture the crew in my head that's in this area that would be like, hey, this is standard season. We're gonna go to all standard seasons together, like as a collective, and like when one of us gets in, your job is to scout for us, give us information, tell us things, and then literally just beat up on everybody that's not us and scoop us in. And then when it becomes 2, then 2 people, like it's a
Is
growing
this-
numbers thing.
Is this you trying to tell us you're gonna start going to RCQs with us?
No,
Hell yeah.
no.
Tony wishes he could.
I might try to sneak in one. I don't know. It's maybe next.
There's one in March.
No, I won't be. I won't play until like October. So that area. But all right. Enough about standards. Congrats on the win, Jeff.
Thanks,
Um,
bud. I
no.
appreciate it.
all right.
Congrats.
Scalping.
Oh, this is awful.
This is
dude.
what you were talking about, and this is what we talked about,
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
us.
We knew.
Yeah.
We knew this was gonna
and
happen.
you know, there's like certain ones. Something like this is definitely going to get hit really hard, and it's going to feel bad. And it sucks that this is the first. Is this the first secret layer that has?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's
since they announced the open order thing.
Yeah, so it feels bad to have that because it's like the first one you want to be like a flagship of, you know, there's enough for everybody that actually wants it and, you know, it's not too in demand. But, you know, obviously people love, you know, their dogs and cats stuff. Like,
Sure.
there's tons of people with EDH decks built around
Oh,
this.
like the guy that's got 5 of them, First Capital Gaming, who's got 5 copies. That's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Love to see that.
Yeah. So
But, I mean, like, it's so shitty. It
cues
sucks.
and like here's the thing. This is the biggest issue that anybody should have with this. I have to fucking break out of like the monotony of my like normal day and sit in front of a computer and spam refresh until I get in a fucking queue.
Right, there was an hour-long wait
Fuck
to
you.
get one of these things at one
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, like fuck off with that. Like don't.
Well, I remember doing that for the
Yeah,
Mythic Edition.
it's
Just sitting at my work, like going, "Hold on, you guys got to give me like
Yeah,
I'm gonna
work
take a 10-minute break,"
Yeah.
and I'm like sitting in the back refreshing my computer or my phone screen over and over.
that shit sucks. Like that's the worst. Like I don't care that there's scalpers because that's just second. Like
It's gonna be the reality.
that's the PS5 same thing. Everything that has a high demand will always have some fucking schmuck going, I was here last night camping. I want the first 5, and actually I can't buy 5, so my mom's gonna buy one, my dad's gonna buy one, my sister's gonna buy one. Like that fucking bullshit. Like, yeah,
It makes me laugh.
that's just what it is. But like,
I think the worst part about it is these sold for $150.
Yeah.
And you're not only doubling it, it's double plus some. Like
yeah, it's just it's
ridiculous.
It's scumbaggery. What do you want, man? Like that's just what that is. And with any of these ones that are like dog's cat, like just happen to be fire. When the Fallout one comes out, because you know, like we were talking about earlier in our chat
that one's
today,
gonna be really popular. It will.
there's 4 Commander decks that are coming out. Those 4 Commander decks are going to inspire people who love the game Fallout to come and play. Just like I have buddies who are diehard like Warhammer fans that the only Magic product they ever bought was the 40k decks, and they're like, "That's so fucking sick." They don't even know about Secret Layers. However, the Secret Layers that came along with them, were probably sold heavily and
Blood Bowl.
Yeah, Blood Bowl. All those things were loved. The same is going to be true of Fallout, and you better believe there's going to be something that's in there that is so desirable that needs to be bought. So
How long before Wizards goes back on this from people complaining?
they make exactly what they want. They have no wait times. They have an exact thing. They're not waiting for their printers to be used up. Like it seems like a win-win for them. As far
Yeah,
as
it literally doesn't matter to
It
them.
does. It has. They're like, here's the amount we're gonna make. If they sell out, boom, we make this much money. If not, you know, lesson learned. Maybe people don't like this fucking franchise. Maybe people don't like.
And
Rugrats.
that's why I was saying when we first discussed this. That's why I was saying I think the first couple of years were to kind of test the water, because obviously they have the numbers of how many were pre-ordered for every single one, and they can make estimates on what kind of secret layers do
Yeah.
what level of sales.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Right.
they have all the information online of too, just like what cards are getting played, what people want.
Well,
Only besides the basic lands, the like main one I can remember that really flopped was the Lord of the Rings ones, and that's because the collective cards are worth like
They were so
$2.
bad.
There was like a meme, right? They were like, ugh,
Yeah.
this is bad.
And they
Yeah.
sold it for $30.
there's other ones that have flopped. You just don't remember them.
The first one ever that had like the
The Little Walkers is cheaper than the cost of the original for sure.
oh yeah.
There's
I'm
stuff
not
like that
saying
where
that
it's definitely
those didn't flop, but I'm saying flop to the point where like it didn't even sell.
So imagine if they like, I know, like One Piece is very hot right now. Imagine if like they're like, guess what? We're gonna do, what's the studio that they work with? We're gonna work, whatever, whatever.
Shonen Jump.
It could be.
Shonen
We're
Jump is what I would say.
they're teaming up with Shonen, like the Shonen Jump, right? And everybody's gonna be like, holy shit, I have to get the secret layer. That thing. Good fucking luck getting a Goku. Good luck getting a Naruto. Good luck getting whatever. Like you're fucked.
Fights
But then it comes to the same thing where if it's not an extremely popular series, but
Yeah.
they have a crossover, those people will get it for a cheaper price than they normally would have.
It's probably easier from a contractual standpoint to pay an artist. Here's your flat fee rather than a scale. Like we
Yeah,
sold this
that-
much.
that's
It's like
fair, too.
here's a flat fee. Here's what we're paying you. Done.
Because we're making this many and we can move on to our next project.
Yeah, we're not waiting to scale to give you a check at the end of the year. You know,
That kind of makes sense too.
that's the reality of it. It's just it's a quicker turnover, or not turnover, but quicker. You can see the money coming in, the correlation to it, and if people really like Dan Frazier, like those signets, like
do it again.
you're gonna see run it back. So
Yep, you just bring it back. It'll be from the vault.
yeah.
From the vault secret layer.
But yeah, so this is a unique one with Dogs versus Cat. I can't imagine every secret layer is doing this, but
Yep.
I mean, realistically, all they have to do is just start pumping, like making those bonus cards lucrative, and then they'll be like, "Hey, you know what? What if we
Sometimes you just get a random, really expensive card. In here,
yeah,
and
what if
it's
we
like,
just
oh,
throw like a
right.
$300 whatever? Like, oh, here's
What if we just reprint the Power 9?
Hell yeah, let's go. Come on.
yeah.
It's gonna happen.
All right,
I need
murders.
it.
Murder spoilers. The whole set's out. I don't know if you guys have been looking at it. This set,
You
I
get the remember how I said I predicted that Bear Morph would be in the set?
yeah,
Did you see the Bear Morph Commander?
I did. I saw the Rage Mother.
I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was onto something.
So the first initial look at the set, I was like, I'm not kind of buying it. This last week of spoilers, there's so many cards that like I'm like these are like legit interesting cards. So, yeah, here's your EDH. Replace your Vandablast. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Destroy all artifacts you don't. Anzrag's Rampage, 5 mana. Destroy all artifacts you don't control, then exile the top of your library or X's of artifact cards that were put in the graveyards from the battlefield this turn. You may put a creature card exile this way onto the battlefield. It gains haste to return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step.
Just replaces Vandablast, which is whatever.
I don't know if replace is the right word.
Well, they do the same thing.
I mean, Vandablast can be played like early to like
Yeah.
slow someone down.
The
though, which
blowout
is
of Gotcha Mana Crypt.
Yes,
Yeah.
does happen.
Yeah. Then
I
there's
think you play both, is what it actually is.
probably there's most likely. Then you have Expedited Inheritance, red. This is a enchantment. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, its controller may exile that many cards from the top of their library. They may play those cards until the end of turn. So what this does is it just makes it impossible for your opponent to block things because you're going to get more cards. So if you're a red deck, if you can squeeze this in and play like a copy of it and your opponent's behind where they have to make really bad chump blocks, like you can be like, if you block my creature to save 2 life, and yours deals 4 to mine, you're going to draw me 4 cards. Like, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't know if this card's good, but I kind of like
Wouldn't
it.
it be both players draw?
Yeah, they would, my bad. They would draw 2, but like if they're at 3 and you're attacking with the 2/2, they're going to have to make a decision of like, I I'm gonna go down to 1, I guess, and then like get blown out by random like end the festivities, or they block it and then have you draw 2 more cards. Like what's the play?
Fair.
So, or 3 or 4 more cards, whatever they block with. So, is it Coveted Falcon? I just like this card. I like giving away all your permanents. This is a morph card that when it flips up, you can give away any number of target permanents you control. So it's just like, here, take all my shit.
The card.
Yeah. And it's a bird. Nothing too special about it. 3 mana, 1/4. I know Josh would reveal a creature card from amongst them that has a mana value 2 or less. You may put it onto the battlefield. It gains haste until end of turn. If you didn't put the revealed card onto the battlefield this way, then it goes into your hand and put the rest of the cards at the bottom of your library. So 2 mana to look at the top 6 cards.
And it's not bad. Those numbers are not terrible.
Well, it's similar to like Collective Company, right? It's not instant speed,
Yeah.
but it's half the price, and you only get, and it's knocked down from your mana value. So, is there a good 2-drop you can play with this? Like, what's the best 2-drop you can get in the game?
What's the like? Can't be played on turns 1, 2, or 3. Sarah's something.
Oh, it does put that. Okay, so I don't think a 3/3 is good enough. I'm trying to think of
That's
it.
2-drop.
I would say Goif, but those days are
It's
long
Bob,
gone.
bro.
That's what comes to mind. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
feel like we're missing a very obvious answer.
Probably. There's got to be a
yeah,
small
the-
creature. Is there any ramp
Phyrexian
cards?
is when it enters
Oh,
the battlefield, right? Yeah.
duh.
Okay.
Dockside Extortionist. Done.
Yeah,
Never
there
mind.
you go.
There we go. Easy game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking from an EDH standpoint here.
Krankos, Buzz Crusher. This is
This
a
card's awesome.
dude. This thing has such aggressive stats. Red 2 for a 4/4 flying trample. It's an insect
Right.
thopter. It's like, dude, those stats alone, you would just play that in limited, and then obviously like Flample for a 4/4 Flample for 4, like pretty good. All right, when it enters the
Oh,
battlefield,
wait, there's more.
yeah. When it enters the battlefield, for each player, destroy up to 1 non-basic land that player controls. For each land destroyed this way, its controller may search its library for a basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So, it doesn't target. That's pretty big. So you can hit Lotus Field.
Okay.
So
Oh,
That's interesting.
it gets around hexproof nonsense.
Yep.
That's wild.
I'm trying to think if this is good in anywhere else in like blink decks, but like if you're the mono red deck, how do you blink this without destroying all your lands? Unless you just play a lot of basics. Yeah, I like the card.
Interesting.
Really, really aggressively statted. Is
Great.
Azura?
Very good.
Yeah,
This card, dude.
the Quake Mole, red 2 for an 8/4 Mole God. Whenever
You're
it,
hot on this guy.
I love this card. It's just a meme. Whenever it becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase, and then for red, green 3, it must be blocked each combat if able. So, any fog effect and an untap blocker that your opponent controls, and being able to activate this means you have infinite combats. I don't know.
Pretty good.
All right.
It's a joke. It was fun because I posted this card and everyone's like, just give it indestructible. You don't need to fog. I go, how does their creature survive? They're like, right. Oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, indestructible is not good enough. Indestructible means at some point you're gonna stop running. You're gonna run out of attack steps. But cool card. I can't tell if this card's good or not. But yeah, 7 mana is
It's-
a ton to put down.
I remember when it first got spoiled, everyone in our little legacy group was like, "Oh my god, isn't this just strictly better than Murktide?" And someone was like, "Dude, the cost isn't reduced for it; it just reduces everything else."
Yeah, right. So it's
Because they were reading it as like,
yeah,
"Oh yeah, if you got something in the bin, if you got 2 Force of Wills in the bin, it's free." Like, no.
Yeah, so Conspiracy Unraveler, 5 blue for a flyer that's 6/6, and then it has the new mechanic collect evidence. You may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana cost for spells you cast. So, if you're able to exile 2 Force Wheels from your graveyard, you can cast anything out of your hand.
Yeah, but you can't. You have to get this, which costs 8
Yeah,
onto the field
yeah,
first,
yeah,
which
you-
is impossible.
Well, you just reanimate it, and then you're fine.
That sounds terrible.
Animate dead, and then hardcast.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, I
I'd
know.
rather just animate at a
This is
draw
This is,
5 cards.
yeah, this is just strictly a commander card. I can't imagine this card being
Yep.
good because all the
EDH fun-
it's too
fun
much.
piece.
It's too much effort to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Bonfire of the Dam on a stick. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Red,
yes,
red,
yes,
four.
yes.
Yeah.
Incinerator of the Guilty. 4 red for a flying trample. It's a 6/6 flying dragon. God damn. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may collect evidence X. When you do, it deals X damage to each creature and each planeswalker they control. So like if you were to, I don't know, exile one of the cyclers that's 6 mana, you're like, all right, take 6. All your entire team takes 6, and this card is going to be I would say this is the best card to have in limited by a lot.
Oh, 100%. Like, what else would you want over this?
Right, it's the best thing that we got. I'm hot on this next card. Someone read Intrude on the Mind.
All right, it is a 5 mana costed spell, 3 and 2 blue. Instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Create a 0/0 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Then put that many 1/1 counters on it for each card put in your graveyard. This way. So I know you guys are hyping this up. It's a more expensive version of Fact or Fiction. I don't care about the body that you get from it. I could see where maybe in Standard it might matter, but any other format, I do not see this being a card that matters.
Right.
Okay. I mean, Factor Fish is
I
dead,
could
right?
see Pioneer.
Yeah,
but-
Fact or Fiction is not played anywhere, and it's 1 mana cheaper. And like the cards are the part that really matter.
And like dig through time just better than this in Pioneer.
Yeah, I don't get why you guys were all hyped up on it, because you guys were like super pumped about it when you first talked about it, and obviously we were probably waiting for today to talk about it more, but I don't see it.
So I think it's incorrect to ever make the splits 3/2. It's either 5/0 or 4/1. Any other way out is wrong. Like draw 4 and
isn't
get a
that-
1/1 flyer is pretty good. So it's like a super baleful Strix.
Isn't that what usually happens
why
with these
make-
cards anyways? It's usually like you get 1 really good card, or you get 4 medium cards, or like 2 lands and 2 okay cards. I feel like typically when I get a pile from someone that they're making or that I'm making, it's usually split like that anyways, most of the time. Obviously, if you're hitting all gas, it's like, yeah, whatever, you got me. I have to pick some good stuff to give you, but
So your opponent gets in like this really weird spot, right? And this is where I like this card, where they attack, you instant speed this, and you go, okay, 1/4, meaning you can either give me a 1/1 to not be able to kill your creature, and give me 4 cards, or you can give me a 4/4 that will eat your creature, and I get to draw 1 card, and that's like a 3-for-1 right there because I got a creature that eats your card, and then I drew a card, and then I also gained a 4/4 flyer. Like, that's where that card gets difficult, and the trickery of that. I mean, obviously, it's utilized purely in combat, whereas Fact or Fiction was the end of turn play always. This is like interacting with you in combat, and because, like, let's say it's a lot like the Wandering Emperor, right? You're like, I don't want to attack because I don't want my creature to die to the Wandering Emperor. That's kind of how this card may end up playing, and at the very least, it's like, you didn't attack. Like, all right, here's my pile, 5/0. You can either give me a 5/5 flyer that I'm gonna hit you over the face with, or you're gonna give me 5 cards. What do you want to do? So I think there's a lot of play there. Fact or Fiction just being purely card based is why it no longer exists. The fact that if you do like a 4/1 split, I think 3/2 is always going to be incorrect because you're probably the 3/3 flyer or the 2/2 flyer is not going to be significant in combat, but a 4/4 flyer probably can stunt on things. A 4/4 flyer that draws a card or a 1/1 flyer that drew 4 cards seems really good. I don't like.
Yeah.
I think that's where
all
like
I'm
the power
saying
goes.
is like, where does this see play?
I don't know. I like to play this card with cards like Torrential Gearhulk. So you're doing this multiple turns in a row.
Multiple times, yeah.
You're just hitting them and hitting them and hitting them, and all of a sudden, like before you know it, they're just like, I can't keep letting him draw cards, but I also can't give him 5/5s or 4/4s.
Torrential Gearhulk also sucks.
Yeah, it's like a
That's
meme.
the problem.
Yeah.
Is like that card also sucks.
Yeah, it's just
So you're talking about I want to put this card that might be okay
Yeah.
with a card that's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well.
I want to play it really bad to see how it like
And-
play it, and
you're
then
t-
we'll see.
So that's the other problem is like when you're talking about your other tempo swings, like isn't Cryptic Command also an amazing card for either combat tricks or end of turn tricks to draw cards?
Yeah.
And remove threats or whatever. And that's essentially what you're trying to do with this is like draw cards and remove threats.
Yeah,
Or draw cards and make threats.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't standard
Yeah.
totally. Like, you know, drawing a bunch of cards for free or telling your opponent you're going to die next turn.
Yeah.
Great. Anywhere else not really. I don't get it.
Yeah, maybe definitely not modern because modern and legacy are two different things. Obviously, it's those days are gone. To play fun ofs, but Pioneer maybe, and then I like this card for. I want to jam 4 of these in standard right away and just see how they play. Just be like, yeah, what's gonna happen? We'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna get a Thopter, a token or whatever the hell you want to call it.
You got a big guy.
Yep.
Big old dude.
The pride of the whole clade, the fattest butt ever.
Dude, this
10,
card is amazing.
10
This card.
10 in the green for a 2/15 Crocodile Elk Turtle legendary creature. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total toughness of creatures you control. It is a defender himself. And then for 2 blue until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to its toughness, and it can attack as though it didn't have a defender. So if this connects, you draw 15. Pretty cool.
So crazy.
Anybody like
Card's
to play?
insane.
Anybody want to play Wall of Omens dot deck and you know,
Play this guy.
play a collected company wall deck and then be like, this is your finisher.
Oh my god.
like I like this card. Like,
That'd be
oh,
so stupid.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Put some walls. Well, the downside with wall denial is you can't target wall denial, but because it's got shroud. But you have Wall of Blossoms and you have Wall of Omens in modern. Like,
You have an
Wall
06 in
back.
standard that says creatures with higher toughness than
the turtle.
power.
Yeah,
Deal damage equal to their toughness.
and also gives your creatures hexproof on your turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Allowing you to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this card's bad when a Wrath has happened, and then you're like, I have an 11-mana card that doesn't do shit. But
Really cannot be casted.
I like this card.
How many people are playing rats right now in modern? None.
Yeah,
0.
Yeah, I like this card just
Easy.
so much, dude. I love this.
Now's
this
your
is
chance to throw everybody off at your modern tournament. You
Yeah.
just go, y'all play my Wall of Omens, and they're like, what are you doing?
They're gonna collect a company like, oh shit, I punted. Then you're like, Wall of Woman. They're like, what the hell? And you're like, you're like, Wall of Blossoms. Or no, sorry, Wall of Roots. -1 counter. Boom. 2/15. Go. Yeah. JB Undergrowth Recon. 1 green.
Ooh, this is a
Enchantment.
This is a meme picture right here.
Yeah.
The classic.
At the
This
beginning
is the
of your-
one that you were joking on, like
Yeah.
immediately when the set came out.
Yeah. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. No bueno.
Garbage. Nope.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Does nothing.
No,
Didn't you originally say this art was going to be Sorcerer's Spyglass?
I thought so.
Yeah. That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
It would have been a clever way to do it, but
The one that they were looking at, or no, I thought it was Innistrad they were looking at too.
Yeah.
this card does nothing. This card's bad.
Yeah, this is just like your budget Crucible of Worlds.
Yeah, I mean exactly. Why wouldn't you just play Crucible Worlds, which doesn't require a mana like a green? Because
Yeah.
like there are plenty of lands that do not produce green in the deck.
Well, this doesn't take your land drop for the turn. It puts a land into play, so you still get your land drop.
Guess.
That's the only difference. But the fact that it comes into play tap makes it booty, and why is that mythic? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. This card sucks. Get it out of here. Oh damn it! You're supposed to click it and make it leave the screen. I didn't want to
No.
look at it anymore.
So this card's got some hype on it. Urgent Necropsy. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
2 black and a green instant. There's an additional cost to cast a spell. Collect X evidence, and then where X is the total mana value of the permanents that this targets, and then disrupt to 1 artifact, up to 1 target or creature, up to 1 enchantment, and up to 1 planeswalker.
Yeah, I like this card. It's pretty cool. It'll definitely see some play.
You think so? I like it versus Urza Saga deck because you can kill the Saga
You
and
get a bunch of zero costed things.
yeah, you can kill the Saga and both the tokens, one of them being a creature, one of them being an artifact, for no collecting.
Yeah, and you think about it. Well, no, I shouldn't even say in Legacy. This is too expensive.
No,
for Legacy. Let's be real.
why couldn't this card cost 3?
I don't know. It should have.
Yeah,
Because there's so much bad downside if you're playing it in like fair Magic. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
yeah. All right.
I don't think it's bad though. I think it'll see play.
This is the card everybody's been nutting over this whole week.
This card
Archdruid's
also
Charm.
sucks.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Green, instant. Choose one. Search your library for a creature or land card and reveal it. Put it onto the battlefield tapped if it's a land card. Otherwise, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So that's pretty cool. It just goes against it goes against any land, just puts it into play, which is pretty goddamn good. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control, and then exile target artifact or enchantment.
Modal cards are good.
Yeah.
Just in like this does a lot. Like
No.
it gets rid of like especially for standard even if it doesn't say play outside of standard. This card is good in
Like
standard. It
busted.
gets rid of being, it gets rid of artifacts, it gets rid of ley line binding. It allows you to remove a creature when you're pushing pressure with your guy, and it allows you to search a land. Like, hey, let's say you're playing against control and they tapped out, and you're like, hey, you know, it'd be really good against them. Cavernous Souls. I'm gonna go put that in play.
Yeah.
Or I need this creature to be able to finish you. I'm gonna go grab this.
It being instant is really big. I'm glad they didn't make this a
So
sorcery.
good.
Yeah. The fact that you can be like end of turn, get something, and they're like shit. Yeah. So when you're at parity, it's pretty good. You can either bump you up a land for a rampant growth for whatever that is, or you can go get a creature that's going to be in the game ending. When you're ahead, it obviously pounces on their creature with a fight spell, and then obviously it picks off things that are always relevant now because there's artifacts and enchantments always everywhere in every goddamn format. I like that. I just don't know if a mono green deck has any interest in this. It would feels like it goes like a 4 or 5 color deck. Like, yeah, because we do what's the blue one's like similar to this, and people play that as a cancel a lot. So like, I don't know, when you have things that are a lot of different abilities, it's pretty nice. And like, end of turn, go put Dark Depths into play tapped, and then untap, win the game, or
Too slow
whatever.
for that.
All
Real
right.
good.
Crop rotation exists.
Yeah, that
and-
comes at a cost.
Yes, for legacy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was about to.
Yeah.
He's talking about Dark Depths combo.
yeah,
That's
if-
legacy.
I would say legacy. Yeah.
It's not good in legacy.
All right, whatever. Doorkeeper Thrall. This is the answer to our prayers, guys. This is how we kill. This is how we kill all the elementals.
This
No.
also stops
Yeah.
Thorical combo, by the way.
Yeah, flying flash 1/2 artifact and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. It's 1 in a white for a 1/2.
I mean, we've had that for a while already, right?
Not with flash.
Standard.
Not
I
with
guess
Flash,
yeah. In
right?
response, you
That's the biggest
cast
one.
it. Yeah, that is pretty important.
It's gonna be funny because someone's gonna go like, in Legacy, someone's gonna evoke an elemental, and you're gonna be like, flash us in, and you're like, okay, I get a 3/2. Like,
What does Arcana Myria do again?
Arcana Myria.
Lands and creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped.
And then
Okay,
you
never
can only-
mind.
each
Ignore me.
player can only,
It's
each player
fine.
each player can only play 1 spell per turn.
Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Although I do like this card.
Yeah, I think the days of this kind of card sucks, but that's just me. I just like this card, Doppelgang. Blue green
card is
X
pretty
X
funny.
X. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of that. So for 5 mana, you get a clone of one thing. For 8 mana, you get 2 clones of 2 things. So you get 4 tokens, and then 11 mana, you get 9 tokens. And obviously, you can see it starts getting exponential. Or yeah,
Can you target the same? Yeah, you can.
yeah.
Oh no,
it's
each
not-
of X
Yeah.
permanents.
So you can target 2 lands and a creature, or 3 lands, or whatever it is. You're like, I want 6 Valakuts. You're like, check this out. Well, what do you need with 6 Valakuts?
Valakuts in a green blue.
Oh, that's the RC promo I get, by the way, is Valor Cut.
Oh, nice. Forensic
really, yeah,
Gadgeteer. Blue and 2, whenever you for a 2/3 detective, whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate, activate abilities of artifacts you control, cost 1 less.
Bonkers.
Yeah, and then it can't reduce the effect less than 1 mana. So Basalt Monolith. Guess what? We broke it again. Easy.
Classic.
This card's great.
Come on. That I was about to say that card breaks all the time. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear. All right. This is the card that I swear to
Oh, I
God,
think this card's bad, but I love it.
it's so.
This card's amazing.
Oh my.
It's so bad. I just like it. I think it's so fun.
Why is this bad, Tony? I need to hear this.
Because it sucks
Why I
unless
do
you're putting
nothing.
it in for free, and if you're not
Even
putting
if
it
you-
in for
even if
free
you're
and
putting
you
it for
draw
free.
it sucks.
You know,
It's
You can play
terrible.
this in mono green.
Oh my God. That's the only corner case where
Why
it's
I do
like
nothing.
decent. Where you're like, I need 4 pips of devotion.
So, all right, I have to ask that you honestly 1,000% believe that this card shouldn't be
bad,
played
yeah.
in 5-color EDH.
Yes, 100%.
5-color EDH is different,
No, because you have to like it's less likely you're gonna have it in your opening hand.
I guess.
Like, what the fuck are we talking about? It's a one of. Like, you're like, oh, I'll multiply this. Like, what? Okay, with your 5-color EDH, there's one card that cares about colors in 5-color EDH. What other commander wants this card?
Which one are you talking about, by the way?
The Jarath or whatever, where the Joda that attacks for each.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah.
Wait, isn't there that spell that says you have to have one of each colored permanent?
That's banned.
That's banned.
Oh,
Coalition
that's
Victory.
so
And
lame.
it's banned because this card exists.
That's
they,
so
they
stupid.
were gonna put no seriously
I-
though. This card's Leyline of the Guild pack, which is hybrid, green plus other color. So if it has the Leyline clause where if it's in your hand at the beginning of the game, you get to start with it in the game on the battlefield. Then each non-land permanent you control is all colors, and then lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their types. I can't wait to blow up people with playing Boil with their stupid 5-color deck and blow up all their fucking lands. You fucking morons. This
Oh,
card
that'll be so good.
or flash fires, blow up all planes. Suck my weenus. Like
Dude, I
this
want to
card
make a
stinks.
deck like that where it's just a bunch of hate on one color cards.
They literally printed a blue card that you can donate this card to somebody and then hit flash fires. I'm like, blow up all your fucking lands, asshole.
That'd be so good.
So okay,
I feel
okay.
like you're wrong, Tony. You don't
That's
know
the
what you're
kind of
talking
cheese I
about.
need.
What so let's pretend that we played a game that it was even if it's in your starting hand, people are like, you could Scion on turn 2. It's like that's not even good. It's a 4/4 flyer with like 5 fucking abilities. It's like that's not great because I'll just play a Murktide that's a 7/7 and you're gonna be like, oh shit, I lost. Like nice.
Except it has first strike and death touch, so Murktide loses.
Incorrect. It does not gain death touch.
I thought it did gain death touch.
Incorrect, Amundo. Read the card and then get back to me. Black gives it
Somebody
lifelink.
didn't read.
Black gives it lifelink.
What is it? First strike, lifelink.
Oh, flying comes with it, so it gets first strike from white. It gets blue gives
lifelink
it
from black.
lifelink from black. Blue gives it hexproof. Red gives it something. Maybe that gives it first strike, and then green gives it trample. So there's another ability in there that I'm missing. Maybe it's vigilance of white. So it's like I'll play a larger creature. Good game. Here's a Murktide. Nice, cool, fun ability, and like
You'll be dead before you can play Murktide.
how's that? You still have to cast the card for 2 mana. It doesn't cost free. And those 5-color domain decks, guess what they play? Fucking Taplands. They play Triumphs. Good luck. I don't understand why people are nutting over this.
What are you
card.
talking about? Now I don't have to play Triumphs.
Oh yeah,
It's
you'll just play mono green with Scions in it, and then if you don't have
I'll
this card,
pray
your deck
that I get
freezes.
lucky. Yeah, I just lose.
Oh man, you could Tribal Flames on turn 2 and get 5 damage. It's like, shut the fuck up, everyone. I hate you. This card stinks. Don't play this in your deck. That's all I can say.
The other one is vigilance.
I think it's
for
a
white.
fun card. I like it. It's fun.
I think it's fine.
I don't think it's fine. I think it's fun.
Does anybody play Prismatic Omen?
Yes.
Okay, what deck?
5 colors.
No, just
I
Buy-
get,
buy
go to EDH Rec
Yeah.
and look up the cards you talk about.
okay. You want me to look up
Here we
Prismatic
go.
Omen?
Get the stats.
All right, here
Get
we
the
go.
stats.
Here
Go
we
get the
go.
numbers.
Here we go.
We know what this turns
EDH
into.
right
I just
here.
wanted to
I'll
make
show
it
you
look it
who's
up.
better.
Here we go. Prismatic Omen. Prismatic.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the episode.
I know. I
Mm.
love doing this.
forcing Tony to look up numbers.
It's okay. Here you go. It's in 1% of all decks. Okay, and then it's got out of 1.6 million decks, it's in 14,000. So okay, that's what this card
still a
does.
lot.
Pretty bad card.
That's
No.
really bad. That card's real bad. People play
That's
it.
pretty bad.
Oh man, I have such a hard time playing Progenitus. I gotta have this card.
What's the 3-mana artifact that does the same thing but also taps for mana? Yeah. Lantern.
Yeah, the people have cut that card
you
for
mean
years.
way better? Yeah.
No, Chromatic Lantern has been cut for years. Like nobody plays that dog
Really?
shit.
I
Yeah,
do. Suck a dick.
Like what is your deck look like? Honest to God, what does your deck look like? That's a 5-color
ramp,
deck.
though.
Yeah.
It ramps and it fixes mana. Like, what's wrong?
think it's
Like, that's
fine.
perfect.
It's
It's
all
better
those,
than Prismatic Omen.
Yeah, I agree with
Sure.
that. Yeah.
Prismatic Omen sucks.
Prismatic Omen does nothing,
Yeah,
and that's
you're
one
right.
of one of the two abilities is Prismatic Omen, and the other one just gives permanents to be multiple colors, so I can like now all of a sudden Elemental Blast and hits everything on your board versus nothing. I don't. What are we doing here?
It doesn't turn your whole board. It's just your lands, bro.
No. Well, Red Elemental Blast hits non-land permanents.
Oh, you're talking about for Omen. Never mind. Sorry.
yeah, my bad. I'm talking
Also,
about
it
this
doesn't
card.
change your opponent's card colors. It only changes yours.
Yeah, this card sucks. Makes what I'm saying is that when your opponent plays this card, my Red Elemental Blast becomes activated. I can hit all your shit.
This is true.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
nice deck. Like, stop playing. Don't play
I
jank.
like it. That's great.
And I can't fathom this doesn't give you any advantage. You just discard a card at the beginning of your turn, and you're like, oh my reliquary tower now taps for all 5 colors. Herder.
This means I don't have to think when I tap my mana.
Yeah, tough. What a tough life. You're like, I
It
don't
can
like
be,
I
bro.
don't like having to think when I fetch. But I love 5 color. It's like, fucking loser. All right, this card's.
Who hurt you, man?
I'm just saying
Tony's
that
getting real upset.
I
He's
feel
really
like you
mad.
The
have
amount
so
of-
much hate in your
the
heart,
amount
bro.
of
Like,
the amount of
who hurt you?
the amount of Facebook posts that are people like, oh yeah, Scion. I'm like,
Yes,
what?
I
Like,
get it. I
this is-
understand that people do not play the game.
Like Sign of Draco,
it.
Some
idiot.
people like to play jank, man.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I can
and that's
also
fine.
I can also play 2 fetch lands. One getting Rafine Sour, the second one going to get a whatever shock land or
Sometimes you don't want to do that.
yeah. Well, okay, my bad. Whoops. I guess if you're gonna play
Sometimes your
no-
deck is trash.
This allows
like
you to play
mine.
Leyline Binding turn 1.
cool. Cool. Sick play, man.
Got him, bro. Yeah, when they go to play,
Mhm.
why can't I think of the anime target? Attracts a turn 1. Now you can get it.
Yeah.
Aha.
All right, Yaris,
Yeah,
Roar of the Old Gods. Love this card. Red, green, 2 for a 4/4. Other creatures you control have face. Whenever one or more
Done
creatures,
with this.
whenever one or more face down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card, and then whenever a face down creature you control dies, return to the battlefield face up under its owner's control. If it's a permanent card, then turn it face up. So, Ash Cloud Phoenix is an infinite with this with a sack outlet. That's pretty
Which
cool.
one's Ash Cloud Phoenix?
It's from the original cons. It's the 4/1 Flying Phoenix. When it dies, you morph it face down. And then when you, for 6 or for 4 red, you flip it up, and each player takes 2 damage. So when it dies, it comes back face down, and then it flips up. So then the Phoenix rises, and then they kill the Phoenix or sack it. It then does the same effect and rises. Because so it just keeps flipping itself because the Phoenix's other abilities, when it dies, return it face down. Yeah, so you get both
Clever
opponents.
girl.
Yeah, both opponents or both you and your opponent take 2 damage each time it flips up. So if you have more life, then you'll be okay. But if you don't, you might want to find a way to not die. But yeah, this card's cool. That's it.
Nice.
There's
We're
other
done.
there's other cards that are going on, but back to rank the keyword. This week's actually way better. Last week, JB, you missed out because we had some dog shit to
What'd you
rank.
get? What do you get? Come on, let me hear it.
Okay, I'm pulling it up.
I want to know what you guys talked about last week so I can give you my opinions right now.
So, okay, last week we talked about flanking, which we ranked at a B. We talked about sacrifice. This is the first time that they changed it. That we gave that a B. Land home, we gave an F. Phasing, we gave a D.
Land home? I don't even know what that is.
So you can't attack your opponent if they don't have an island. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait,
If
what
you-
ability?
It's land home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's like the giant fish guy had it.
Yeah, in Dan.
Yeah.
Dan. So if you don't control an island,
Yep.
you sacrifice it. And if they don't control an island, you can't attack. So big ol' F on that one.
Bad.
And then there's a thing called Substance, but I don't want to explain that. This
This
week,
card game has none
What?
of it.
I don't want to talk about it. It's hard. It's hard to explain. It's very confusing. It literally only exists because of Magic Online. But it does exist
Okay.
in. It's hard to explain. I'll talk to you about it on air if you're interested.
I am.
It just
Alright.
involves timing with stuff.
Yeah. All right. Buyback. First introduced in Tempest. It's still utilized
Buybacks so good.
in Modern Horizon. There's a squirrel buyback card, but famous buyback cards.
Yep.
The
There we go.
The
That card's
original
real good.
capsize. The original Cyclonic Rift. The way to yeah. So let me just say one thing about buyback. I think this is where the yes, this card is great. Infinite mana, obviously, is degenerate by returning target permanent. But this card is where probably the birth of hating blue players came, especially with cards like Forbid.
I played that in EDH.
Yeah, so back when the buyback was a thing, capsize was a thing, a lot, this is like the pre-internet, right? So you would go to an FNM and then someone would get 12 mana, they would bounce the land you played for turn and the permanent, and all of a sudden you could just see it kind of connecting. They would have no win conditions in their deck other than bouncing your permanents and then beating you with like a 2/2. Mishra's Foundry or whatever. So
It was so good.
yeah. And
That's
like,
how murderers are born.
so this is I think honestly because like counterspell ain't that bad, right? Like it was rough like when you would counter like a Shivan Dragon that sucked, but sometimes you would draw a counterspell and there was already a Shivan Dragon on the field. Capsize, never ending. And buyback is a toxic mechanic because it means for stale gameplay. What do you guys want to rate
Hail
buyback?
to you. Fun to me.
It is fun to me. I love this card.
I think it's S or whatever. It's
I
supposed
think,
to be,
yeah, I
so
think
good.
that it's broken.
Okay, because the last card that we got was like
I
make a
wouldn't call
1/1
it broken.
1/1 squirrel from Modern Horizons, and
It's
then
not
and
S.
buyback. So these are the two premier cards of them. Like,
You remember Sprout
Let me
Swarm?
see some bad ones.
The most elegant
Show them
magic
what
card
bad
ever created.
buybacks look like.
I mean, there's there's a fog with buyback, which is really good too. The piece.
okay, how much does it cost?
That's
I think it's two.
it's sacrifice the land.
Yeah.
Sacrifice the land.
So that one,
Buyback.
okay. So
Wandering mist. Or
we got buyback here, right? There's not that many here. Let me.
approaching or constant mist.
I'm gonna do this by release date so we can see. Okay, so there's reiterate from they brought the stuff. Walk the Ends. I played that one. Wish
Yeah.
Elvish Fury.
Sprout Swarm. The
Sprout
most elegant magic card ever created.
Ooh, what's that uncard? Let me look at that. Oh, it's got like
It is,
17 abilities. That's
you don't
right.
need anything.
Okay.
You don't need anything besides a Sprout Swarm.
Yeah, they actually banned this from the new Times Power Remastered because it was so bad for the format. This was the best
Yeah.
card of the
Oh
format.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Shattering Pulse. A lot of these cards kind of stink, but like Constant Miss or yeah, that one's a fun one.
Yeah, that card. That's the
Pattern
fog.
Pulse is all right.
That's
I played
that's
in,
like the $10 card. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. It sees play all like it's a EDH like favorite.
Yeah, Corpse Dance, Disturbed Burial,
That's a cool card. I like Corpse Dance.
Searing Touch. Dink.
Okay, I take it back. This is probably like an A.
Yeah, I
There's
think it's
some
an A too.
interesting mechanics, and it's like
I
the
think
ability to
it's-
repeatedly do something like that, like play these spells, is
It
good
basically
enough.
says pay mana and do this to like make a copy of this card in your hand.
Well, it's you just put it back. You put the exact card back. It just says
Yeah.
you just
Wait,
use
what is
paint.
that? Owl buyback? What's that artifact there?
Right here.
You get it back if they
Oh, that
counter
looks
it.
so good.
And Memory Crystal.
Oh man, could you imagine?
I'm sure
You're
there's
like, oh yeah,
yeah.
I'll pay 3 instead of
If
6.
they counter it, do you
Volume
still get
stuff?
it back?
No, it's gone.
Okay.
It's as a
what I
resolve. So if it doesn't resolve, you don't get any of it. So I mean, there's some bangers for sure, right? Like this card's cool. I mean,
And there's some like fine cards in here too. I was thinking it was just gonna be like the good ones and everything else sucks.
yeah,
No, I
I like
think
there's some good cards.
yeah. What about Anoint? Prevent up to 3 damage to any creature.
Oh
Eh.
man,
White
dude,
just
I really White having that ability makes me laugh so much.
White just having the worst things ever. Sacrifice a creature, gain life equal to
Free
the
life,
just
or-
just the worst. Just the worst. White just got it the worst back then.
Yeah, it's so funny.
All right. I mean I like A just because it's got a little bit of iconic to it. Anybody has any
Yeah,
objection to
And
that?
there's like some okay
I
cards.
mean, yes, but I think I'm
You think it's
outnumbered,
S?
So
I think it's
I
A.
do.
I mean
I
it's
think it does.
like without like obviously your opponent countering it, like it's just always in your hand. That's like pure card advantage.
Okay, well,
Kinda.
I mean, put it in the
So
scope of like put it in the scope of today's game.
I think buyback would be gross right now.
You're gonna have to
Yep.
explain to me.
Could
Well,
you,
I mean, you're
so
gonna have to
could
make
you
up a card,
imagine,
right?
like
Like you're gonna have to make up a
so
card that's insane. Tell me what you would do.
I'm even saying, all right, capsize.
Okay.
You don't think
You're-
that card would
you're-
get played in
Zero.
any format outside of Legacy? I
Zero.
think you're in.
Does
You know
it
that
doesn't
Flash Soldier?
doesn't even get played in Legacy.
You know that Flash Soldier that it's like a 1 in a white and it comes with a body, a token.
Yeah,
Imagine if that had buyback for 2 more.
for 4
How
mana
would
to
you
get.
do that with the creature?
Okay, hold on. You
Uh-huh.
could, it's okay. You can do it with the creature. It's fine. I mean, let's
would-
we'll make it. We'll say.
What's the
gather,
one?
Gather the
Raise the
townsfolk.
alarm.
Yeah, raise the alarm.
Yeah.
2 mana with a 2 mana buyback. So 4 mana to put it back in your hand and make 2 tokens at instant speed.
Okay, so we're talking the modern day of Magic, right?
Yes.
Do you ever have? This is the problem with a lot of cards nowadays. Is you always have something to do because everything has stapled draw a card on it.
Yep.
You never run out of
Right.
stuff to do, and all the cards are better than making 2/1/1. So like, I don't know what card you're trying to create. That would be like it would obviously have to be like
So,
buyback,
Sprout
make
Swarm
3
would
Okos.
already like be played if it was good.
Sprout Swarm.
Would like Sprout Swarm would be the card that would see play in 2024, but
And
it
limited?
doesn't.
Yeah, maybe limited.
No, he's saying if any card was that exists already would see play now, it'd be Sprout Swarm, which it could be, and it's not seeing play.
Yeah, you're right. It's got Convoke, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's
I
just
guess that's fair.
like Capsize has
Yes.
a memory. Yeah, but it's,
I was about to say there's
Do
a
we have
history with it.
anything in S right now?
yeah, we
There's
do.
a history with it, and it is also
do we
very
do?
good in limited.
Oh, we have nothing in S. My bad. Nope.
Okay.
We moved it. We initially had
All right.
flying.
I will concede to A.
Whatever card you would make up would be like. I mean, I know there's the fire design, but come on.
I was about to say, like, you still have to be reasonable with the mana cost.
Shadow.
Oh, I like Shadow.
So the initial like best shadow creatures, obviously, aside from the ones that were just like pro something.
The looter.
Yeah, shadow is an ability. This creature can block and only be blocked with creatures with shadow. So like shadow doesn't interact with normal creatures and so forth. But Soltari Champion was like a standard, like it was an anthem with a body that could attack for 2, and you know your opponents had to play shitty shadow creatures to block it. Then in Time Spiral they came out with Looter Ilkor, which is still played in Vintage Cube as like a reanimator card, but it's like hanging on by a thread. And then obviously the most notable
Oh, that's such a good card.
I
Doth-
need one of these
I
for-
think this is our first S.
Shadow.
Ah,
No, Shadow's not what.
I mean,
why,
it's literally played to this day.
is
I
it-
think Shadow has a downside in that
Yeah.
It can't block.
Yeah, it can't block either.
So if Dothy Voidwalker didn't have Shadow, would people not play it?
I honestly don't think so.
I think it'd be worse.
I think you're
lot worse.
crazy.
It just. I know you hate this argument, but it does apply. Like a big part of the reason that makes Dothy so good is it is a 3/2 beater that your opponent can almost never block unless they have their own.
That's fair. It doesn't trade in combat. Yeah.
And
And,
it
like-
steals cards.
Yes, like
That's
the
also
fact that
very
it
good.
can it's exiling your opponent's graveyard and bashing them without having to worry about like a Ragavan blocking it or something stupid like that.
But also can't block a Ragavan.
Agreed, but
It's a big
you're
deal.
racing a Ragavan at that point and you're doing more damage than they are.
I mean, I'll take that race all day. Meaning that I get one of your cards and a treasure, and you just hit me for an additional damage. Yeah, I think I'll take that race by a lot. Like I'll take
I
the.
think you lose that race.
Let me get this straight. You think a
Because
2/1?
anything you cast,
Mhm.
is exiled, and then once you play something that is better than my Dothy, I just cast it and beat you.
So let's pretend that I'm casting your cards with Ragavan. What then? I and you're the black deck. I'll be stealing your cards.
Yeah.
Like I think I win the race.
What are
'cause
you casting from me then at that point?
So let's pretend that I get 2 cards to your 1, and you're beating me in one damage
But you
advantage
don't get
race.
2 cards. How do you get 2 cards?
I draw from my draw step. I
Oh,
steal
I
your
get
card
what
from
you're saying.
Ragavan.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm doubling the amount of cards you're reading. I will take
Yeah.
Ragavan 1,000 times over Voidwalker. Not close. I double the cards equals potential whatever. Now in the scenario where I literally rip 7 lands and you rip 7 lands, like sure you win, but like come on, that's not Magic. Like and also I get
Yeah,
mana.
but also lands aren't the only dead thing you ever draw.
Yeah, that's fair. But again, I'm getting mana advantage. I'm going from 1 mana to 3 mana to 5 mana or to 4 mana to 5 like I'm 5 mana, so I'm like increasing a much longer length of the game, whereas you're 3/2, which you do get to steal spells from me, that is fair. And like it just in a heads up race I'll take Ragavan. But obviously it's all circumstantial.
Agreed.
Not being able to block is the only thing that stops this thing, I think, from being an S. It is super annoying though.
I don't know. It's an ability. Like, when was the first set it was printed?
It shows right there, Tempest. I mean, we can pull up the Tempest cards for Shadow.
No.
they're stinky.
I'm saying, like,
They suck.
when did Tempest release? Is more or
Oh,
less, I guess,
sure,
what
I
I'm
got it right here.
asking.
Tempest came out in 97.
So from 97 till 2024, Shadow is seen play.
Yeah, that's fair. But you can also,
I guess that's my argument. Is like the ability that is very fringe, rarely printed,
Yep.
still sees play to this day.
would you give that same argument to flying because it still sees play today?
Yes, we did that. Remember?
Yeah,
we
we-
talked about
I-
flying.
What about Trample? Because it still
Also
sees play. I mean,
Yeah.
those are those are an S. Shadow's good. I mean, if you want to,
I don't think it's S.
I don't think it's S.
I agree. It's A.
It's
I just don't think it's as powerful. The problem is you're evaluating the shadow card with the extra benefits on top.
Yeah.
So like obviously the
Is there a
blue-
shadow card that doesn't have an extra benefit
So-
to it?
Let's say
Yeah, there are,
instead
but
of shadow it said there are cards that don't have shadow that say can't be blocked, can't block, right? Those exist.
Invisible Stalker.
Invisible Stalker.
Yeah, exactly. So you already have stuff like that that
Well-
has like good value.
But that also costs what? Invisible Stalker is too. You are correct.
And
So it's like
it can block.
no difference.
No, that's a big difference. Invisible Stalker can block. It's different. It just can't block a thing with Shadow because Shadow, similar to Horsemanship, I mean,
Has its special.
they're kind of the same thing. Like if you really think
Yeah.
about it, like Horsemanship can only be blocked by Horsemanship. It's just like Shadow and Horsemanship are the same, like the same exact card.
Except Shadow actually has some good cards in there.
And Shadow has a downside
because
because Horsemanship cards can block things without Horsemanship. So, I mean, I'm not giving Horsemanship a fucking S because of the ability.
Yeah, no. I give it an A
Yeah, let's say
because it's got a history in Magic. It's got its place, and I don't think it's
Yes, but we're not
busted.
All right, sure.
Sure. He forfeited. We win.
we did it twice, guys. RCQ champion, we got him. All right,
Make him bend.
this next one, cycling. Okay, so
Okay, this is great. This is an S.
okay, cycling has had
God.
very
I
different.
promise you.
There's 264 cards with cycling. There's a whole bunch of different types. There's so the cards I'm showing on the screen are Miscalculation, which shows cycling for 2 generic, and then later on we get on the Onslaught Chroma's Blessing, which shows cycling for a actual colored mana that has an ability on it. There's also different forms of cycling where you cycle.
S.
Yeah,
S.
where- yeah.
S. S.
Okay.
Wrong.
Decree of Pain, which is still probably played in like low tier EDHs, but again, Decree of Pain having an uncounterable ability is why like cycling is sick because they've added these effects to this. Like when you cycle Decree of Pain, everything gets -2/-2, and then they've also stapled like wizard cycling on random shit. Like so you can just go get specifically a wizard's, aka Thassa's Oracle, and then the last, the greatest one ever, which not Traumatic Visions, but Lorien's Reveal, which is,
S. S.
I mean, going to get dual lands or triomes is fucked up.
S is cycling is unreal.
It is one of the greatest things they've ever done in Limited. It makes Limited smoother. It's great for every format that's had cycling plays like cards of cycling. We've had triomes that have had it. We have
Dude, do you remember when there was that cycler deck that you killed with the spell that
Solar
was
Flare.
for every
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Such a great
Zenith
deck.
Flare.
Yeah, sorry,
the
that's what I
fucking
meant, yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is an S.
Yeah.
It has so much
So-
value stapled on the front half and the back half. If you're in a bad position, you can get rid of it to either draw cards or go get lands.
Yeah.
If you're in a good position, you can play it for the expensive half to do something valuable to the board or to your hand.
Yeah.
In almost all senses, this is an S.
But my argument now is you said with Shadow that the reason I thought Shadow was good is the additional abilities attached to it. Cycling at its base is just discard this card, draw. The reason cycling
No,
is
it
so
is not
good.
draw.
Yes.
It is go get a card or draw.
It changed
Or-
that. Originally, cycling was just
But we're talking
discard
about it
draw.
as a whole.
Yes, because it's got now added abilities.
Sure.
How is that different than me arguing Shadow's abilities?
Because
with
Shadow,
it?
it doesn't say Shadow. This is the Shadow's ability. This is cycling. This is the cycling ability.
All right,
So
sure.
hold on.
Whatever.
Cycle
Let-
land, basic land cycling.
Let me try to sell Jeff on it. So cycling is the first iteration of like modal spells, right? This is situationally good, like miscalculation, and in the cases where it's not good, I can cash it out. Whereas you don't have to be stuck with a dead card.
I'm
anymore.
not saying it's not an S.
Yeah.
I definitely agree it is an S. I was just saying that the argument that he was using, I didn't think was fair.
Oh, okay.
It is, dude. No, because go back to the other cards, please.
Sure.
I
What I
understand
want you
that
to
they
see
say
is
basic land cycling, but
Shadow is not Shadow plus get cards. It's
But it
never
is.
that. No, it is not. It's here's an ability on top, here's an ability on bottom. Cycling always has that second stapled on ability to get something, whether it's a new card out of your deck to search or
Yeah.
just drawing a card. Its value has always been there, and it's always been important when it's in a format.
We have lands that had them like polluted. The
Yeah,
original.
it's just-
the original cycle.
There's no comparison to Shadow at all.
you're wrong, but that's okay.
The only thing is, and I don't want to go back to Shadow. The only thing I will say with Shadow, it's isolated and its ability is not been expanded on. And yes, it's stapled onto a top tier card, but like cycling has had so many different iterations, and everywhere you play it has just been fantastic. Whether it's limited,
Obviously,
standard,
the top
yeah.
half is important. I'm not saying it isn't, but the
Yeah.
bottom half is its own ability. Cycling is its own thing every time,
Yeah. Well,
and it holds the card up.
Well, the newest, the Lord of the Rings ones we got, I think are what pushed it into S tier. If it was previous to that, I would say A tier. But the Lord of the Rings ones that we got,
Even then,
one mana.
cycling has been around for so long and has done so much.
Yeah, but like, come on. Did you ever play Traumatic Visions? Be real. That was a great limited card, but it's not good. I mean, Decree of Pain and like Wizard Cycling. Come on, those aren't great. Like Miscalculations, like the Respect, because that's like, hey, that's a homage
Almost
to.
Blessing is decent,
Yeah, like all that stuff kind of exists, but
and like in its era, it was also amazing.
yeah, like people played these cards. Like the fact that Decree of Pain is an uncounterable ability.
There was Alara had a couple of cycle cards, and some of them did see play.
I don't remember which ones.
The Shauna Stybender.
I mean, Living End exists because of cycling, right? Like, if it
Yes.
was- yeah, it's like it's an entire deck that its premise is like we cheated with cycling, so we get to do Living End. Yeah,
But that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah,
That's why I'm like
the
it is
Tidebinder
an
is
A
yeah, no S
or S. I mean,
S.
sorry, not A.
Don't
Yes, it is an S.
don't you fucking
Let me
think this one.
don't. I'm not gonna do that
Yeah.
because I 100% say this is an S
All
ability.
right, we're moving on. Echo. Where's the saga? So here are like the heavy
was
hitters: Deranged Tournament and Avalanche Riders, which have Echo. Which Echo is you come into play, you get an effect. It usually has an ETB effect or something, and then or an awesomely statted creature, but then you pay for it later. So in this case, Deranged Tournament is
Only got
yeah.
a really good ETB, but then you have to pay twice or whatever.
Yeah, you have,
Yeah.
double the cost. So it's like you pay it eventually later. So Deranged Tournament's the classic where it's like you make 4 squirrel tokens and then all squirrels go 1/1 for 5 mana. So essentially for 5 mana you get 9 power. And then if you don't pay that additional 5 next turn, you go right back down to 4 power. So yeah. Here's some other cards that are
So
relevant with this. Like
It's always hard for me to rank something like this because we're talking about the ability itself, right?
Yeah, it's a downside.
But in this case, yeah, and that's the problem is when we're talking about downsides, we have to look at what it enables.
Yeah. Well,
And I think I would put this at a B because the downside is so expensive on these. There's other downside cards that have less downside to get more. Versus these which tend to be like relatively powerful, but I don't think they're anywhere near like broken or amazing. I just think they're good.
B?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say C, dude. Like, I think it's worse.
B?
Than,
That bad?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
All right.
Like,
Well, because the
10
problem
years ago
is
you
you
gave
have
it
to
B.
judge. I mean, that's the problem is like when we're talking about negatives, right? You
Yeah.
have to see what it enables.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I guess you're right. Like no one's ever paying for their echo
No one
cost.
ever plays the Echo.
No,
Yeah.
you play it for the front end because you get the cheating end of it because you're like, hey, I'll do this later, and then like in the game or limited game scenarios, you're like, yeah, sure, I'll pay. Like I've paid for Mog War Marshal when I've played Legacy Goblins. I can tell you this: I haven't paid for Sting Scourger. And Avalanche Riders, I've only ever cheated with like Restoration Angels.
Yeah,
Or
people only
Ephemerates.
cheat Deranged Hermit or whatever.
Yeah, it's just how many times can you blink this to avoid Echo? But like, Echo kind of sucks, man. It's really. I mean, if you play pre-modern, you'll see Echo a lot, but it's really bad. Like maybe a B 10 years ago because Sting Scourger was something relevant, but like Jeff would know. Like how many goblins are played now that replace Sting Scourger? Sting Scourger is like a singleton one of, and you only have it because you have Matron to tutor it.
Yeah, it doesn't really see play.
Yeah, it's like I mean, do you play it in your Goblin EDH?
I do just because it's a goblin.
You can go
Like-
tutor it, yeah.
Well, and like occasionally, like being able to
It
bounce
matters.
my opponent's shit matters, and 90% of the time,
Yeah.
my goblins have haste, so I don't care that it's going to die the next turn. So it's going to come into play, bounce, attack. Kranko's going to tap, replace it with a token, so I don't
Yeah.
care that it's dying.
They did reprint a card in Modern Horizons 2 that like its Echo was like discard a card. So when they changed it a little bit, it's not as bad. But that card like sees 0 play too. They just haven't. Maybe Modern Horizons 3 will be the rebirth of Echo and will be like S tier when they're like, hey,
Honestly, Mog War Marshal is like the best one. Just because it does something when it leaves too.
yeah, it's got the
Yeah.
double. That's why it's up here. It's like it's respectable. I don't know if Legacy Goblins still plays this card. I think it's
They
like
don't. Maybe they do. I
Eldin,
don't think
that's like
so.
Eldin Marauders.
yeah, that's the
Yeah, the Destroy a Land.
yeah, we showed that Avalanche
But
Rider,
not-
and then the Keldon Marauders is
Mhm.
deal 3 to the face, and it's the 3/2 with haste. It's basically ball lightning for 4 mana. But you know you can pay Echo the next turn and then keep the 3/2 around.
Actually, the card I'm thinking about is Vanishing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you're thinking of the other one, the 2/2, the 2 mana 3/3. That's red. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a C. It's near D. I can tell you that. It's hanging
Okay.
out the C by a thread. And the
That's
last one today, haste.
Ooh.
Haste's
Yes.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's a big one. It premiered officially keyworded in 6th edition, but obviously it existed prior to that in alpha. They just always had to spell shit out, unaffected by summoning sickness. Yeah, and I showed Raging Goblin because yeah.
Yeah. Best card ever. I mean, I don't think we really have to argue this one, do we? Although I think Tony's gonna say A.
It's got to be A.
It's how.
I think flying's better than it.
Just because something's better doesn't like. There's going to be. We're gonna have tiers on the S to begin with. Do you think everything on the S is like exactly even?
No, but like I would say, what's the best haste creature that exists? Craterhoof.
Craterhoof,
Ball Lightning.
Ball Lightning's pretty good.
Ball Lightning is pretty good. That one rules.
I mean, we even have the red white one that has
Oh.
lifelink and haste.
That's 4 mana for Spark Trooper. Don't bring that shit in.
Yeah.
No. You can bring the Blightning one in. That one's cool because that one's
Oh,
actually
that one's good.
that one actually costs 3 mana. The Spark Trooper, get that shit out of here. Haste is really good.
Godric is pretty broken and he sees play.
I mean, I guess what
Haste is
I would ask you is like, now the more I'm thinking about it, I think Haste is probably better than Flying. Yeah,
I would agree. I
thi-
just
I think-
didn't want to.
no, you're right. I think I'm thinking about it more because like creatures having haste, like the reason why is like already or like red deck win is like the entire archetype of red deck win is literally on the back of haste, you know.
Yes, I
Whereas like flying, like
understand.
like flying decks, like you know, it's make or break. Like control decks have had Grave Titans, control decks have had Baneslayer Angels. So I guess I think haste is probably better. I thought flying would in my head flying would be better, but haste is fucked up. Damn, is this
Yeah, it's got decks built around it. I like it.
for the last 30 years of Magic.
Yeah.
It's all about getting in fast.
Like don't get me wrong, like
Beat 'em up.
flying has been a thing. Flying's good and limited, but also like haste is got some deceitfulness to it, right? You're like,
I
oh,
feel
I
like
won't kill you. Oh, just kidding. Bloodbraid elf.
I feel like the top end of flying is why flying sees play, whereas haste, like the bottom of the barrel cards still even see play with haste.
Goblin guy.
Like obviously you're not playing a 1/1 with flying for one, but you're gonna play a 5 mana flyer that's a 4/4 and does a bunch of stuff. You're not playing it just because it has flying. You're playing it because of the other abilities.
Yeah, I think I
Like
could.
there's haste creatures that just see play because they have haste.
Yeah, I'm like rattling off like in my head, like Monastery Swift Spear is like the best example. Shit's banned in
Oh,
Pauper.
agreed.
Like, can't play that shit in Pauper anymore. Goodbye. All right, I'll give Haze ass.
Yeah.
I'm for real.
He's
Like,
getting that.
I really thought like if you would have talked to me before this, I would have been like, yeah, no, it's worse than flying. But I think it's actually better than flying.
Yeah, in all cases except for maybe limited.
I'm
'cause
just-
sometimes limited it's just not good enough.
No, I mean haste is good there too because they accidentally they think they're winning combat and they think you're winning the race. And you're like, surprise, haste creature.
In comparison to flying is what I meant.
Yeah, I agree that in limited is probably the only time I would challenge it being like better than flying or not. But outside of that, you're building around it, and like you
Yep.
said, you build around haste, you don't build around flying.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's spirits, but that's just like kind of a meme. You don't really need that. It's like flying,
And that's not even because they have flying. It's just tribal. They do a bunch of dumb stuff.
Yeah. All right. That's all we got for ranking every keyword. Join us next
Hey.
week when we hit horsemanship, fading, kicker,
Got our second
split
S
card,
boys.
and flashback.
Ooh, flashback is gonna be split and flashback are real good.
Split cards are the shit. That would be hard not to be an S tier.
Well, whatever. We'll talk about it next week.
All right.
Shut up. Shut your mouth.
Josh, get me the fuck out of here.
Everyone knows that dogs are better than cats, but pugs are ugly as fuck. And it's Wednesday, my dudes.
Yeah. I like
Love,
it.
Peace. See you later, Pugsy.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. Good night.
Bye.
Bye. All right. What were you gonna tell me?
Bye.
About substance?
Yeah. What is that?
All right. So
Never heard of it in my life.
this will help if I have it in the screen.
Show me a card.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
It's actually never been printed. But
What?
it's a thing that exists. So, substance, you may cast, like, I'm going to read Necromancy. Black and 2.
Yeah.
You may cast Necromancy as though it had flash.
Yeah.
If you cast it anytime a sorcery couldn't have been cast, the controller of permanent or of the permanent, it becomes sacrificed at the beginning of the next cleanup step, right? So it sacks at the end of the
Okay.
turn.
Yeah.
So substance is literally referring to if you could cast it anytime a sorcery couldn't be cast.
Oh yeah. So it's like gives you the ability to choose to cast as an instant if you want.
So it's a little trickier than that because if you +1 a Chandra and you cast Necromancy, it gains substance.
Yep. Yeah. Suddenly,
Even though you didn't
because
cast
was
it as an
cast-
instant. Because
But
you
it was cast from
like a timing.
a zone that is not your hand.
Yeah, or like just while you it's so like if you +1 a Chandra and they have a Teferi out, even though like it's sorcery speed,
Yeah, I was about to say that's Teferi is the easiest way to explain that to newer players. It's like you
Yeah.
ever play against Teferi and not able to cast stuff from
It's-
exile.
it's probably one of the few mechanics ever. I didn't know this was on the list. Huh. Interesting. It's one of the. It's right. They probably don't reprint it. It's one of the few cards that in paper gets played wrong all the time because I'm sure because these cards exist in vintage cubes like Chandra, Torture, Defiance, and Necromancy. I'm sure that interactions have happened hundreds of times. But if you ever watch streamers, they'll plus a like Necromancy and then reanimate something, and they're like, "Why did my thing die?" It's like, well, it has substance.
Yep.
Yeah. And,
That's funny. I like it.
and there's like 6 cards
good.
total that like have this
Have that
ability.
text.
Whereas, well, it's the if anytime you could cast a sorcery or any
Yeah, they're all in the old sets. Like
if
the
you
first
cast
couple.
it anytime a sorcery couldn't have been cast, which obviously doesn't account for things being played from exile or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, it's all sorts of weird shit. So
Yeah. Crazy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, once you pulled up Necromancy and started describing, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know.
trying to
that.
like describe it without using Necromancy, I don't know how. I'm like, well,
Yeah, there's no like. Any
I mean, I would
great
just talk about
or,
it.
like example.
I would talk
cards,
about
I
it in the
guess.
way of just Teferi because a lot of people understand the Teferi stuff.
Well, people fuck it up all the time because people probably have cast in person off Torture Defiance because those are again, both in a vintage or legacy cube. And they're like, yeah, you can't cast that. And they're like, I'm not. I'm casting it. And it's like, but the Chandra timing is weird because it goes into like this weird. You're not casting it like an instant, but you're casting it when you couldn't have cast a sorcery. It's like some weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because
in
it's your
between.
turn doesn't mean it's not at instant speed.
Yeah. So it's really weird.
Instant and interrupt. God,
Yeah.
what a stupid.
I like that initial. Interrupt cards were the best.
Yeah, they were faster.
Oh, we didn't even talk about clues. The list sucks. The commander cards, meh. This card I'm super excited about. I like this card hell of a lot. This card,
Oh yeah.
this card's super good. Love it. I just need to find a way to blink it. There's got to be a way.
Investigate 4 times.
Yeah. So with obviously Academy, whatever. I feel like that.
Manufacturer.
Yeah, that manufacturer. Like anytime I see that, I just go and like I buy
It's a
them.
stupid 1 white. It was played in the white black invoke decks at the start of Modern Horizons 2.
Yeah.
What are you talking
1
about?
mana and it blinks it 3 times.
Oh, Ephemerate
Yeah,
blinks it twice.
twice.
This is the red version of that wizard. Willbender. Boltbender.
Turn phase up, you may choose new targets for any number of other spells and abilities.
Yeah, this is way
Okay.
better. Way better than Willbender.
Willbender's the exile, right?
No, Willbender's the same card. It's just got morph. That's it.
Turn face up to. Oh.
So that card's like legit just a better card in every way. Like, yes, it's got more man, but you're gonna morph it and then flip it up. And the fact that you can target any number of spells is kind of funny. Where there's like 6 things on the stack. You're like, all
I
right,
did rename Morph.
to disguise,
Yeah.
Because now it gets Ward 2.
it gets ward 2. Because morph in this day and age of Magic or
It's not
Megamorph
good.
can't exist when like cut down is the number 1 played card. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna spend
Yeah,
3
making
minutes.
cut down cost 3 is way better.
Ever-
And then you
yeah.
like make them pay the extra, and then you flip it, and then they feel real bad.
Yeah, all right.